Because as politicians have taught us, there's nothing that they put out there that they'll acknowledge, even if it's recorded.
Very true. And you just
apparently that's the times.
We're live, by the way. Hey.
Yep.
I just seen your mug disappear into Darkside's hand, Chris, when you went out to drink it.
Here, Darkside. Here we go, Darkside. Have a drink.
Have some.
You've had a rough one.
Oh. Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Mark 56 of the Super Civil Servants podcast. My name is Greg, and tonight we are the Review Patrol. Very fitting because we are going to cover all of Doom Patrol Season 1. We've all given it a good rewatch, and I want to say we all love the show, but we all at least like it. So we'll get into that later. But we got a little bit of news to talk about. We got a great panel of people on the show. So let's start it off. Mr. Balga, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well. It's first day of first week of 4-day weeks since we get Fridays off. We do 10-hour days, but we do Fridays off. So it's a good day.
There you go. I mean, it's always nice to have that extra day. 10-hour days would be like there's an Amazon facility near me, and they were offering jobs of 40 hours a week, but it was 4 10-hour days a week. And I contemplated. I was like, having 3 days off every week in a row would be nice, but I don't know.
You got to get through those 10 hours.
Right. It has its ups and its downs for sure. So.
Yeah.
Sarah, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to chatting with you guys this evening about something so fun. I've had a fun week.
First week of the new job, right?
Yeah, first week new job.
Yes. I absolutely love it. Actually told a few folks about you guys and what I do on Friday night. So I think that's pretty cool. So maybe I can bring some more listeners in. So it's been cool. Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. That's right. T-Bone, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Pretty good, Greg. Just super excited to talk about a certain trailer, teaser trailer.
Oh yeah.
Wonder Woman, right?
I know y'all all saw the trailer I made. We're not going to talk about that tonight, so we'll give it a little bit.
A month and a half ago, it was like it didn't exist. So
yeah, right, exactly. I'm still rolling around in that and loving that. I don't know. That's like 28-3 for a Panthers fan. You'll never let that go. You know, you'll never let 28-3 go. So, and if you're a Panthers fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I don't have to explain it. But we also have a special guest tonight, our homeboy, the legendary bearded geek, Eric. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, man, you are a super fan of the show, super fan of Doom Patrol, super fan of everything geek, and you run a few podcasts yourself, too, don't you?
Yes, I do. I have Legendary Bearded Geek podcast, which is basically it was going to be about everything, including Doctor Who, but I decided to keep it with comic books and video games because we don't have very many of them. But I just recently started Alonzi Radio, which is an entirely just Doctor Who all the time podcast because we've got Star Wars, we've got Star Trek, we've got comic books, DC, Marvel podcast, but no Doctor Who. And at a time like this where, the world just pretty much at war with each other, I needed something positive to talk about. And Doctor Who teaches a very good life lesson, so I figured that would be a good way to get out there with that.
I'm officially starting Doctor Who this week, so
you'll have to let me know what you think.
I've been debating it. Starting it.
And look at this guy. He's not even shameless. For those that are watching, he is shamelessly plugging Doctor Who with that little hat he's wearing there. And I've seen enough Doctor Who that I know what that is.
Okay.
Oh no! See, with me, I only have I have a hat to go with every shirt, just about. Nice. I have 3 Batman hats and Flash hats to go with all my DC shirts. I got my Doctor Who shirt, and I just got this.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You're not a fan at all.
Right.
No. Well, see, this I've been planning for a while because it's not only that, but it's I got my kids' initials in it, and I got my wife's initials in the light because they're my greatest story.
I hear you, man.
See, tattoos when they mean something are awesome.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to hear about yours, Travis.
Oh,
I heard that Greg had.
I can't handle it. I would never be able to handle it.
You got the butterfly in the lower back. That's his spirit animal.
Definitely.
It's my secret.
Not anymore.
Yeah, aired it out there for everyone.
That's right. That's right.
I'm just gonna pick up for Nathan.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, Chris.
Just says, hold my beer. I got this. All right, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to keep covering Stargirl like we have before. We're also going to do a full review of Season 1 of Doom Patrol because we got a lot of Doom Patrol or really big fans here and experts. And before we get all that done, we're going to go ahead and get some news out of the way because, get it out. Then we'll go full review, saving the best for last with Doom Patrol. So Travis rounded up most of the news this week. Travis, you gave us the DC fandom stuff going on. Walk us into that and tell us what you know about the DC fandom stuff going on. Fandom.
Well, I didn't know that it was going to be announced, Greg. Before it was San Diego Comic-Con online, and people were speculating if DC, like Warner Brothers, would be at that. And instead, they're going crazy with their own. Basically, I don't even know what to call it. Really, just a is it a 2-day event?
I think, yeah.
Nope. But
And-
what? Niders?
No, the whole
No, it's
DC
the-
fandom.
24 hours.
24 hours.
24 hours.
24
Yeah, full
hours?
24 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to be everything.
Well, it's kind of like
All
2
the
days then.
movies, like virtual panels for everything: the Batman, Black Adam, Shazam, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, Justice League, Aquaman, and that's just the movie side.
I was reading somewhere, did something about VR? Is it going to be a VR experience?
I never read anything about VR. Just read virtual panels.
Maybe that's what I
I don't
saw.
know if
Maybe I saw
anybody
the word
else-
virtual, and I just automatically did my American thing and didn't even read the next word and said, "Oh, VR."
Automatically
Virtual. There you go.
assumed.
Nothing else starts with virtual in front of it, so it's got to be VR. That's probably what it was.
That's next year, Greg. That's next year.
Right. Well, hey, I've done sports games in VR, and they're pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
Like doing a live sports, watching a live sport. The only problem is they hadn't perfected it yet because you can watch them from a bunch of different points of view. And the most cool point of view is right center, like right in the center of the court for a basketball game, like right in front of the announcer's table. Because you can look left and right and see players subbing and everything, but refs stand right in front of the camera quite a bit. So that's the only downside to VR so far. It's going to get better, I'm sure. But
Well, that and if the ball goes straight towards the camera, you're pretty much going to shit yourself thinking that you had a
Yeah.
ball flying at your face.
yeah, VR will do that to you. But yeah, Chris, you know anything? What you know anything other news about this? What's going on? I mean, I'm gonna check it out. I know me and Travis talked about it on the last DC Alliance podcast, and it's a free thing. And I know they were talking about this happened at WonderCon, and it was bad reviews, and people didn't like it, but it's free. It's something more than I would experience if it wasn't there.
Well, people were kind of wondering, San Diego's kind of put out a little bit of who's there, and DC really wasn't present. So, we obviously now see why. They were planning their own thing. But I do like how, they've gone out there and how much they're basically their TV, movies, comics. They're all going to be present in different ways, and I like it how they've also they've done their little mini map of the sense of we're going to have some stuff for kids. We're going to have some stuff for insiders. We're going to have panels with Jim Lee. We're going to have, obviously, Snyder's going to be a part of it. And, it's different. It's obviously we all can't have a Hall H experience this year or anything like that. But I like seeing that DC is really bringing everything. If we can't have San Diego, we're going to control the narrative for us since it's our product, and we're going to get fully behind it. I mean, this is a very different DC that we have seen in the last couple of months, and I really do attribute that to Jim Lee. I attribute that to Warner Brothers' new rulers of AT&T, and they really are doing a full court press saying, those of you who think we've been counted out, watch out.
Well, the thing for me is, like you said, they're doing something totally different here and something you haven't heard of. I just wonder if they were to do it, so far from what I've heard from people, a lot of, at least online, I haven't actually spoken to anybody but us, and we're all excited about it, but I guess just anybody else who would be into it or not excited about it because of, like I said, the WonderCon stuff. But I wonder if they were to actually have Comic-Con and they offered this, would the viewpoint on this be different? Would people not be looking down on it as much? Or is it just because the actual Comic-Con, it's not going to be there, that people are kind of sour about it? You know what I mean?
Well, I think one of the things that, WonderCon putting it on, this was a comic book convention that usually doesn't put on something like this before, but you've got a multimedia platform company behind them that they have the infrastructure to put this into place and make it really good. Yeah. So I'm not trying to knock WonderCon for it. I'm just saying, like, they weren't originally trying to set up in this, and it was more of just how can we salvage what was or what was going to be.
Right.
Just look at just look at Sony, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their rollout for PlayStation 5 was majorly successful. It was a couple hours, like, showing the games and everything. Just think about that, but add on, like, the way DC's doing it, they have an ISP behind them, like Chris was talking about with AT&T. Like, they can easily do this for a full 24 hours. I think it's going to be majorly successful, and there's going to be a lot of high points of traffic when trailers get leaked out or shared from the panels, the virtual panels. Like, I think, like, you'll have a big, like, DC will trend multiple times throughout that 24 hours for sure.
Well, remember, Sony also learned a lesson from their very first attempt at showing the PS5. It was a disaster.
Yeah, so, but this one was majorly successful.
Yeah, they learned. They learned very quickly. But, also people are saying 24 hours. Is that going to be 24 hours of everything live? Well, no, it's just going to be active that you can access stuff for 24 hours. So.
Well, so I wonder then, do you expect them to have big releases of this? Like, are they going to drop a huge trailer? Is it going to be, or is it just going to kind of be the information you would be able to find on the internet, regardless?
I can see a Suicide Squad trailer dropping. I can see maybe a first look at Dwayne Johnson in the Black Adam costume.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Because he's coming, he's coming. He
awesome.
He don't go anywhere for free. Like, he don't do anything. Like, I got a feeling that's been a long time, so they'll probably do something like that.
Yeah. Levi's coming.
Exactly, Levi's coming, so you could have a back and forth between them. Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer's going to drop in. If it doesn't drop at JusticeCon, maybe we'll get another teaser at JusticeCon, and then.
I don't want to tease the whole thing.
We'll get the trailer.
I want the whole thing.
How many times did you watch that 34-second clip, Greg?
Oh my dude, I watched the 34-second clip so much that when I got home last night, the reason why I was struggling to finish watching everything today, because I had plenty of time last night when I got off work. I came home and I was so determined to make my own Snyder Cut trailer that I started and set a bottle of whiskey down and started working on something that I have no idea what I was doing. Never done anything like this before, and self-taught myself. Or self-taught myself. Yeah, self-taught myself. That's how I'm saying it. Self-taught myself.
He's taking it back.
That's right. How to do this. Next thing I know, I look up, it's like 2:30 in the morning. Like, I don't know if y'all noticed, I sent y'all the link to it, and like I looked at it this morning, I was like, wow, I sent that at like 2:30 in the morning.
You did.
So and I couldn't even believe it. Like, I was that wrapped into it. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see.
I turned over and I was like, "Who is buzzing at 2 a.m. in the morning?" I thought for half a second it was Nathan.
No, it's Greg. He's drunk again. Like, what it is, but yeah, like I'm super excited about Snyder's trailer. And
what about our guest? What would you like to see happen at this fandom?
Quite a bit, actually. I'd love to see more about the Batman, because despite what everybody's saying about Robert Pattinson not being worth a damn as Batman, I'm giving him the benefit of a doubt. Think about it. Michael Keaton, who is one of the most comic book accurate, or one of the most highly appraised actors to play Batman, originally had a petition against him at first, too, because no one wanted him to be Batman.
That's true.
But then you have people like the one that's not even a part of my Batman universe, George Clooney, who everyone was like, he's going to be perfect. The movie was hot trash. So I'm excited to see something from the Batman and Black Adam. I'm actually excited to see what James Gunn's going to do with Suicide Squad.
Funny you mentioned George Clooney. You got that urban legend. I don't know if it's true or not, but supposedly he has a life-size cutout of him as Batman in his office to remind him to never let other people dictate his career choices.
No, that's actually true. He's actually announced that in an interview before.
Yeah. So I like that. It's not like he's bashing it. It's just wasn't necessarily his fault. It was hot trash. It was
No,
just
because see, that's just it. Like people
Yeah.
misunderstand like a good actor from bad acting because
yeah.
George Clooney is a phenomenal actor. The writer who wrote that movie was just garbage. Like it was not what anybody wanted.
Except
Yeah.
the studio
And I'm not even gonna
to
get
sell
started.
toys.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna get started on their poor choice of Mr. Freeze. I think that they should redeem Mr. Freeze because that was bullshit.
That's
Hey,
what ruined Mr. Freeze.
chill.
I think.
No, no,
Chill.
absolutely not.
Yeah, that one's pretty. But no, you're right, dude. I do want to see some Batman stuff. I can't believe no one's even talked about that because that's kind of their next biggest thing coming up. I guess Suicide Squad 2, and I don't really know what else they're working on that they're really putting a lot of. Well, Wonder Woman 84, I guess.
Well, that's already done.
Well,
Sure,
we'll
just trying to
probably get a
figure it out.
final trailer for that, I'd say.
That's a good point. We might get a final trailer for that. Or
I would like to see them do. I would like to see Cheetah at some point in a trailer, seeing what Kristen Wiig is going to look like as Cheetah.
I think you will in this final one. I've been saying that for a while. I think the final one's
Same.
you're gonna get some sort of reveal. And I said this I think last week. What I would like to see, I don't want to see the full. I would love them to be her in the shadows and just like the eyes. Just enough to kind of give us the tease. Because what I worry about is we get too much of a big reveal and people overanalyze it like Doomsday.
Yeah, do like the exact opposite of what Transformers 3 did with the Dinobots.
Yep.
Because they just threw that out there and everyone was excited, and then that movie ended up bombing too.
yeah. I think Transformers kind of started to derail after number 2 anyway. But I mean, I know a lot of people love it. They're great movies. I've seen them all, and I can watch them all. But it's only so much, flashy metal and explosion sounds.
What's
you can
Michael
watch them
Bay?
at
That's
one
his
time.
signature thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But another thing I'm excited for, and I saw it in one of the panels, was, and I think Travis mentioned, or someone said something, Travis would be interested in this, the WB games. I want the new fucking Arkham game.
Yeah.
You want that supposed court of owls that they've been unfortunately teasing and then walking back every 2 years?
That would be pretty cool. That's a great
And
book.
I worry about this supposed announcement that we're all waiting for at that point because I could see them also WB Games pulling like a mobile game or something like that. Like they just said they'll make an announcement, but we build up in our heads so many times. We've been teased by that Court of Owls game. I want it too, but I don't know.
Don't put that curse on us.
I'm trying not.
Don't get me started on how underutilized the gaming industry is for DC and Marvel.
You think so? You think
Oh,
so?
yes.
Yes.
Oh, we even talked about it. We even talked about it on Marvel Alliance.
I heard it this week.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that there could be a lot of great games, but don't most superhero games just kind of they just kind of die out? I mean, I've played some really fun ones, and I guess I don't know. I enjoy them, but they're just never really that popular. There's something like Spider-Man, the Batman Arkham series games.
Arkham Knight. The only thing that went against me with, I didn't like the Batmobile schematics. I did not like the control function for the Batmobile. I feel that it was just overly used and pretty much like the fact that even like going after the Riddler, I've been playing that game for 7 years. I still haven't beat the Riddler. I beat everybody else in that game. I have not caught that motherfucker yet because all of his riddles are involving the Batmobile. I ain't got that kind of fucking time.
1 month. It took me 1 month just dedicated to it.
My hat's off to you.
I hate. Well, no. I think the worst part about it, you're exactly right, is that I don't want to race the Batmobile. That's what took me the longest. There was one racing sequence that was just insane, and I probably spent a half a day just doing it. That's when before I really had a real job.
Yeah, I can remember how frustrating that one was. It the one where the
Darn
it would just
sewers.
slide out from.
Well, see, those were considered like the main part. I did everything up until you got to release Catwoman from the Riddler's grasp. It was just doing all the little shit throughout the town, like throughout the city, that just got on my fucking nerves.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god! And oh my god, like if they now light up the Riddler's henchmen green, so you know that you've got to make sure they go down last so you can interrogate them. But if you're driving that Batmobile and you see that green, you can't stop and you're running over the motherfucker.
Run him over. I'll just blow him up with a missile.
See,
No,
They
but
don't
you need
die.
see,
Batman doesn't kill.
all this talk reminds me of trying to get through the underwater level on Ninja Turtles back in the day on Nintendo.
Don't.
just-
That I got a PTSD from that. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at what we're getting this year is Spider-Man Miles Morales and the supposed Marvel's Avengers that can't seem to get,
I think that's going to be a disaster.
And in the last year, we've gotten Marvel Ultimate Alliance on Switch and Spider-Man.
I mean, Ultimate Alliance is a fun game, but it's a button
It is.
masher. It's a button masher is all it is, but it's a fun game. The way you can build teams and everything. I just don't know what you're going to do with the Marvel team-up game. Unless you have a game where there's like 8 different storylines you can play through.
Well, I mean, you look at what you almost want. They're trying to pin this on making it like a Destiny kind of game in the sense that this is going to be a building world. At that point, massive in the sense of constant different stories. But what you do is you can mirror it after DC Online, model after Knights of the Old Republic Online, where you had different kinds of storylines from the comics drop in and things like that. But they seem to have a lot of difficulty trying to crack some of these superheroes. I mean, when was the last time we had a Superman game? That hot trash one from N64.
Oh God!
I was gonna make a joke about that, but you kind of went with it. So I can't.
Yeah, you know what? I guess I liked the Green Lantern game on PS3. Was it PS3? PS4? I can't remember. I enjoyed it, but it's
shocked.
Yeah.
Well, I have my concerns about the Spider-Man game. For one, the original Spider-Man game had been in the works since 2013 or 14 and was finally announced in 2016, then took 2 more years before they actually released it. It's only been 2 years since the first game has been released. How are they going to manage to pull off what they did in 6 years in 2?
Because they had to make the gaming engine for the first one. The second one, they'll use the same gaming engine, so that cuts down on their time dramatically. But they had to invent a gaming, like they had to invent a fighting style. Had to invent it was from the bare bones. So now they got a lot to work with, and they just got to basically do a storyline with Miles.
And it's only a 15 to 20 hour standalone game too. So, and I take it back. The other superhero games that have been released are the Lego games that have come out. And those are pretty consistently positive sellers, which is interesting.
Oh, those are fucking fun. I love them.
I think you could just do a whole thing. You could have an Iron Man game. You could have, if you do them right.
You got VR. I forgot about that. You have Iron Man VR.
But you could do kind of like Avengers build up. Instead of putting out the Avengers, they should have done a build up to it with individual Avengers games, and then you put them all together, kind of like the movies.
Now, what everyone is excited about, I'm excited about the Court of Owls thing for the new Batman game, but I would like to see something along the lines of maybe make it a little bit more futuristic and go the Batman Beyond route.
That'd be fun.
I mean, think about it. Bruce Wayne, how far have any of you guys actually finished Arkham Knight all the way through to get the Nightfall ending?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That pretty much blows himself up at the end of the game. So he goes into hiding. Why not go ahead and bring Terry McGinnis in?
Mm-hmm.
You could do that too. There's so many different games that you could do. If you don't just spit them out, you got to put a bit of time and effort into them. The reason that a lot of superhero video games aren't good is because they're always rushed to either meet with the same timeline as a movie, that's most of the time what it is, or rushed out just to make money. If you put time in, with the Arkham games or with Spider-Man games, you get a good product every time.
And I think one of the reasons we've had such to your point, why we've taken so long to do another supposed Batman game is just they did a phenomenal job, even with Arkham Origins. Even though that's one of the ones that seems to be panned, I really enjoyed it for what it was trying to do.
I talked to a bunch of Batman Arkham fans, and I'm going to tell you there are people that would put Arkham Origins above Arkham City, and Arkham City is the highest one in the original trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get I hear the criticism, but I just think that it's a little bit. I think they more focus on it. It wasn't Rocksteady doing it that for whatever reason.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good game. But I think when you basically have what many consider to be the biggest pinnacle for superhero games until Spider-Man came, it's like, where do we go from here? Like, we raised that bar. What can we do different? Because the worst thing they could say in a review is like, well, it's the same old stuff just with new paint. You know, I think that's the trouble in the gaming industry, is like, how do we raise the bar and not become like what Call of Duty became until they went for their, made a big change in that series as well.
Yeah. It's the Madden curse, I feel, or like it's the way I kind of fell off Madden. Like, I love Madden, I love football, but I just kind of fell off Madden because every year it was just basically the same exact thing.
We call that the FIFA curse.
The what?
The FIFA curse.
Yeah.
But just like Call of Duty, I've always called Call of Duty nothing more than FIFA with guns.
Yeah. I mean, you said you and I talked this week about it. Just like you focus on, you got some games that, my goodness, the amount of times you've played a number of games. I mean, hate putting you on the spot, but that's impressive, playing certain games 13 times and other games 9 times. I mean, you like what you like, but there's something about those games that keeps you coming back.
Uncharted, I think the Uncharted series I played about 9 or 10 times, but the story keeps me going with those.
Yeah.
The Arkham games I play because it's Batman. You can't. Now, Red Dead I played quite a few times, and it took up until I think my 4th or 5th time playing it through that I didn't cry.
Wow.
Every other time I cried up until like the last time.
But I mean, all those games have something in common, like you said, a good story.
Mm-hmm.
What all ties them down is a story. And so, what is the story? Graphics they can always do; they can always improve and do a really good job with. But it's the same thing with comics. It's a story.
Mm-hmm. What
What is the story? How can you connect with these people? I mean, again, Uncharted, there are 4 games in their whole. I mean, that is a character arc that is, one of Naughty Dog's best, next to Last of Us.
Which The Last of Us Part 2 came out today.
Right here, waiting on it. Waiting to play.
It's kind of missing in the dark side.
Oh yeah, it's white. Dark side wouldn't let it come through.
No, he's not very nice with that kind of stuff.
He's The Last of Us.
All right.
Touche.
Yes.
Good one. Sarah, you got any thoughts on anything? I don't know if you're a gamer, if you are anything like that, but
No, unfortunately, I'm not the gamer. I mean, other than the Lego games, I'm down with that. But Brian is. A lot of games, especially like the Arkham games, he's played, and he
bring him
likes
over
them.
here. Tell him, come on.
What do you think he's doing right now?
Smart.
Yeah, he probably usually is like, she's going to the podcast. That's free time right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
No, I mean, sometimes I'll sit down and watch him play, and just kind of, especially like the Batman Arkham games. I really enjoy. I just don't have the patience for those. That's just, I don't know. Like I said, I like the Lego ones.
Yeah.
I know that sounds kind of.
No, they're great. I think we all said
love
right now. Yeah, they're
But,
great.
Absolutely.
but I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I just think it's great, and I totally agree. Games like that. I mean, it does. I mean, you have all the action, you have all but the story really is what keeps you going.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if you don't, I mean, the bare bones, every game pretty much has like the same type action.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to get down to the bare bones of it, but really what takes it above and beyond, I mean, obviously the graphics, because they have evolved over the years, and it's just fantastic. Like, I'll see some of the things he's playing, and I mean, it looks like almost real. I mean, it looks real. I mean, obviously, honestly. But yeah, the story, and I'll just ask what's going on, and and plus, just not just the story, but like the, like the, what's the word I'm looking for? What you actually have to do, or the, come on guys, what am I talking about? Not just the story, but the.
Look, I don't know. I'm not as big as a gamer. I would know better. Yeah.
But I mean, you actually have a purpose. You actually have something that you're going after and what you're doing. Yeah, it'll come to you.
Missions?
Yeah,
Yes,
like a mission-based game.
Thank you.
There we go.
I mean,
We got it.
that kind of adds to it too, because open world is cool. It's because it gives you the option of just going out and doing whatever. But then when you do have missions, it kind of keeps you grounded a little bit. But yeah, I'm totally agreeing with what you guys are saying. A lot of stuff that, I mean, it's, even though I'm basically the observer.
I found a list of TV shows, Greg, that were supposed to be in that panel as well, in that fandom.
Okay.
Black Lightning, DC Superhero Girls, Legends of Tomorrow, Stargirl, Doom Patrol, The Flash, Harley Quinn, Lucifer, Pennyworth, Supergirl, Superman and Lois, Titans, Watchmen, and Young Justice Outsiders.
Why would you not want to go see that for free?
I think we could see a few things from them as well. Not all of them, like the CW shows that already finished. I don't think we'll get much from them. Maybe just a talk to the actors type deal, or talk to the showrunners. But for some of the stuff there, that's kind of still been building for a little while. So I think we could end up seeing, who knows, you could see something from Young Justice Outsiders.
That'd be pretty interesting. I would enjoy seeing something from that. You've got me into that show pretty good. Yeah, but back to what we're saying about the games. Like, I'm not a huge gamer. I mean, I enjoy playing games a lot. I don't have time for it anymore. My daughters, I have a 13-year-old and an almost 10-year-old. They've pretty much taken over my PlayStation, so I really don't get to play a whole lot more. So every once in a while I'll get a game of Call of Duty in, every once in a while I'll get a game of Madden in, but I'm playing like Madden from like 6 years ago or 4 years ago or something like that. And then, I have Horizon Zero Dawn. I enjoy playing that game quite a bit. I have the new Star Wars game, and I can't even remember the name of it now.
Speaking of, did you watch that trailer I sent you about
I still haven't watched it yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, dude, it's going to be perfect, man.
Yeah. If it's as good as the first game.
I have a feeling it's going to.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I really get a chance to do. I played No Man's Sky a little bit, but that's really kind of a time-consuming game too, and kind of boring if you're not don't have something it's a free universe game, but if you don't have something you want to go do, it's just kind of like being in the universe with nothing to do sometimes. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited for any kind of new games that come out if I have the opportunity to play them, but it just doesn't come around very often for me anymore. Yeah, there's my sad story about gaming. I wasn't trying to bring on the mood. I feel like I brought everything down. No, I'm just kind of explaining where I am with the gaming situation. So I like a lot of this stuff, and a lot of these games we're talking about, I've played a couple times because I'll go rent it at the Redbox or something for a few days and play it. But the biggest thing I hate about my PlayStation is every time I get a new game, I have to delete another game. Like, it's so frustrating, and I don't have that many games on there.
External hard drive.
Yeah, I know, that's the solution, but
you get a 4 terabyte. You get a 4 terabyte external for about $100 on Amazon.
It's not bad.
Dude, and they put those on sale a lot too. So yeah. You can sometimes just use Honey on your Chrome browser, and they can definitely find even a better deal for you.
What is Honey on your Chrome browser?
Well, I did that on purpose because I want Nathan to freak out about like different things at that point. Yes, Honey is an add-on. Honey is an add-on you can put onto your Chrome browser, and it literally searches. You go to any kind of, shopping site, for Amazon, for instance, and it will, when you're in your cart at that point, it will find saying, well, this is the best deal, or you could do this deal. It may not be Prime, but you can get a better deal doing this one.
Huh. Okay, I'm gonna check that out.
It works out it works out a ton of shopping sites.
Okay. I didn't know if you were telling a joke that I didn't get, or I really did not know what that was. That's pretty crazy. I'm gonna check it out whenever I get out of here. So that's pretty cool.
Nope, but it also works as a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. But I think that might be all the real news we have. Oh no, that's not all the news we have to talk about. We have one more big news story to talk about. It's not even a really big news story, but one more thing that happened this week. And I'm trying to pick. I'm looking at all. Look at Sarah. You haven't spoken much right tonight. Talk to us about the new Snyder Cut release footage stuff. What we saw this week, because we're all super excited.
About time.
Yes.
We finally see what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying he about forgot about it. Travis would jump through the camera and choked him out.
I mean, I don't think I've seen it, 500 times. I saw a couple of times just to, and I like the fact that it has Diana. It's hitting her because you look at her face. It's just I think it's like everybody else's face, like, oh, finally. So, but yes, it was really awesome to see Dark Side. So,
Yeah.
it's just, I'm with you, Greg. I'm like, I'm tired of the teasers. I don't want to see trailers. I want to see it. I'm done. I just want to see it. It's been a long
Wait a year,
time.
guys. Come on.
Oh, don't worry. There's going to be plenty of stuff out there between now and a year.
Oh yeah.
The ultimate trailer. That's my goal. I want to make the ultimate Snyder. I'm going to send it to Zack Snyder. He's going to be like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Come check out the movie premiere with me. I'll be like, all right, guys. Like, I'm going to miss this Friday because me and old Zach are going to the premiere of HBO. Justice League. Zack Snyder Justice League. But, yeah, just kidding. But anyway, yeah. That got released.
But it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. It's insane. It wasn't super long. It was, like 32 seconds?
Yeah, it was for sure.
It was a big teaser and didn't have a lot of footage, but it had something that we all really wanted to see. And
But wasn't that the Dark Side? Wasn't that shown earlier? But it wasn't quite as like enhanced.
Yeah, he's the Diana image, the Dark Side image, and the one where we end up seeing Dark Side on the sequence. He's put that out either in black and white or color.
'Cause I remember seeing that, but now it's like you see it with all the imagery.
It was never
like,
video. It was never
Right.
video,
Yeah.
right?
Never live footage.
this is
And
the
you're
first
thinking-
live-action Dark Side movement you've seen ever
Wow.
in the world. It's
I
pretty
mean-
cool.
Remember, the Snyder Cut doesn't exist.
Now, even though the Dark Side was standing perfectly still during that trailer, everything around him in the background made him look that much more badass.
like
I
super menacing.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is pretty cool. I wouldn't want to go against him. But yeah,
That's a young him too. I'm sure when we see him at the end of the movie, he'll look more comic accurate. I think.
yeah, probably. I mean, and we also don't know how big of or how great of a shot we're going to get of him. That may be kind of just about the best shot you get of him. I'm sure there'll
we'll
be
get it.
something.
We'll get the boom tube at the end.
And he'll be in the history lesson. I think. Like you'll see him a bit in the history lesson.
Well, that might have actually been the history lesson.
Oh, that is.
Yeah,
That
it was,
definitely
yeah.
was the history lesson. Yeah.
Well, Ray Porter he's still covered by his NDA, so he can't say too much, but he can definitely say he's it.
Yeah.
Do you think Diana's description of the history lesson is going to be different?
I'm not sure. I think maybe there'll be more added on to it.
Okay.
Because I think maybe Steppenwolf is involved, so I think that he'll be there. But I think you'll see Darkseid there as well.
Because remember, we in the theatrical, we didn't get the sequences with the mother boxes that were given to the three tribes. That wasn't there anymore. We saw that in the first trailer, but that's gone.
Yeah.
In the theatrical, so we haven't seen that either. So we got a ton of the history still left.
Yeah.
I imagine the history lesson will probably be a whole lot longer on this one. As it should
I think
be.
so.
As it should be.
I loved hearing Lex Luthor too, like
Yes.
narrating over it. I love that.
Mhm.
Or talking over it.
Well, I wonder, did he film parts for that movie? Because he did film parts for that movie that he was never in. Right?
Yeah, he filmed a bit more than what was left in there. I do think that there's a different Deathstroke scene that we'll get as well. Joe Manganiello tweeted out as much, like show the good Deathstroke stuff. So,
The good Deathstroke stuff.
well, he breaks in, and I thought I read somewhere that he's supposed to break in into Arkham and get Lex out. So I read that somewhere, like a long time ago, like pre Justice League being released. And then all we got was just him with "We Need a League of Our Own." So I think that there was different stuff that Zach filmed, probably to help set up Ben's the Batman movie.
Very possible. I mean, we're going to get to see, I think we're going to get to see a whole lot more with it being this series than we would have with the movie. I mean, why wouldn't they put as much of it into there as they can? What was the original cut length?
Just 5-hour assembly cut,
Yeah.
wasn't there, Chris? And a 4-hour he's shown to.
Yeah,
I would watch it.
I don't think that's
In
a
one
question.
sitting.
I don't think
I
that's.
would
I don't think
watch it.
anyone's doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'd probably watch it twice, over and over. That's a full day's work right there. Just keep it on in the background. So. But yeah, Snyder Cut. We're getting new stuff every week about it. We've really been getting new Snyder news every week for quite a while now, even before the Snyder Cut release broke and all that stuff, we were getting something about Snyder every week. It was the Snyder Cut movement was slowly getting stronger and stronger. You could really feel its heartbeat, and now it's alive, man. It's here.
I mean, there were two things this week besides right before the trailer. Then the Robin Dick Grayson thing came back out again, and then it picked up steam more just because someone asked him saying, "Is this going to be brought more into Justice League?" And he said a hint.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I know. I saw that tweet, I put it in the group, and I said, "Didn't we know this already a long time ago?" And I guess you're right. It's kind of recirculating now because before the Snyder Cut was dead and all that stuff's gone, and we're not worried about that. Now it's real.
But and it's fine because we could say that we've known about it, but now we've got a whole group of people that have never seen some of this stuff before, and we're going to see a lot more of this.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It brings in more people to be interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
That means the possibility of maybe getting a Snyderverse.
And I want to point out to people too, he made that decision back when he still thought he was going to get to tell his 5-movie story arc and be done with it. Like that was to have it be Dick Grayson, to show.
Yeah, and I'm one of the. I love Dick Grayson as Robin. I've he's Tim's. I like Dick. I think Tim is usually my favorite, right next to Dick. But Nathan is saying something inappropriate right now.
Right.
So.
She's just a big smile out of face somewhere.
But
it's like a spider sense.
Yeah, people freak out like saying you can't kill Dick Grayson. It says who? This was never put in like this had to be DC canon. How many different times of movies, Marvel and DC is like, oh, this didn't happen in comics. It doesn't have to be like that. This is just the way he wanted to tell it because this still sends Bruce on a trajectory a la Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight Returns, he stopped being Batman after, spoiler, Jason Todd was killed by the Joker. This changed Bruce's trajectory of his first and only partner that we have ever seen him with. How does that not make sense? He went down this path in a different way.
Well, he had planned for, at the end, to be, before Batman sacrificed himself, for Carrie to be Robin. He stated that a couple times.
Yeah.
Well, my only issue with this is, I knew about this. I just forgotten about the whole story because it's been so long ago, but I didn't know about it, and it just doesn't seem like why make the change? Because, like I said, I know they don't have talks of Nightwing or Red Hood or anything moving forward, but when you start to change things around like that, it messes it up. It's like if Marvel would be like, you know what, let's just go ahead and call Bruce Banner Iron Man for this one, just for the hell of it, just for a change. It doesn't make much sense to me,
Well, at the same time, I think people are putting too much of a strain on DC for changing up some of their story arcs and changing the way some of the things go. Marvel's been doing it since they first started, and no one said two shits about them doing it because they still make a great movie.
Sure.
DC could do the same thing regardless of what they change, but people want to bicker about DC because fuck their DC.
You got to remember, people usually scrutinize DC about a lot of things they don't scrutinize most movies for. So for some reason, they're always under the microscope.
People get very protective over, Grayson in the sense of, when DiDio was supposed to kill him off and wanted to kill him off in Infinite Crisis. They've been and now in his current run right now, where he's Rick at this point because of it. And we won't go down that path, but, this is, he's the first Robin. He's the one that, and I saw an interesting thing, and I like this take on it, that Grayson will never fully accept being the Cal. He'll be the stand-in, but he'll never accept being Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he don't want that life.
He will not go down that pathway. Tim, yes. Damian, yes. Jason's happy in his own skin as Red Hood, and that's fine by me. But
that works.
Yes, but him dying, the more I've thought about it, the more I've seen it, the more it came out, even when we knew about it. I was like, this, we've never heard, we just assume how, just based on Bruce's path in this universe, what this did to him, but he's never gone on. We've never seen him ever go on record about it. BVS and Justice League are only two films where this is even brought out.
Right.
So any sort of hint about it, that's not his character to ever express something like this, even in the comics. But you can see just even that him walking by, looking at that. That is his reminder of what his life and what his mission has become. It is nothing but death.
Yeah. Very well.
And
put.
Nightwing would have stopped. Like Nightwing would have did something if he was alive in BVS. Like he would have went to Bruce after, like, when Bruce started descent. Alfred would have contacted him, like, for sure. I don't think that those things are up for debate if he was alive. So I think if you didn't want to show that, and you can always do a prequel Nightwing movie, like you can do it before he dies. Because who's to say he died as Robin?
But why would he die in the Robin outfit if he's?
No, well, he could just put that's way he could honor him, right?
Well, why would it have been graffitied by the Joker?
Just send a message to. Well, it wouldn't. It was just graffiti by Lex.
No, the suit wasn't. The suit was graffiti.
I thought that was graffitied by Lex just to send a message
No,
to Batman.
the letters were from Lex.
The letters.
Okay.
Yeah.
The letters, because that was his knowing that he already knows who Bruce is, and he didn't protect your family, is him going after him for not protecting Grayson.
I figured he would clean the graffiti off if it was.
Well, I think that's kind of the thing, part of it being the reminder. You know.
Well, yeah, I don't think he needs the Joker graffiti for a reminder. It's just a giant statue of Dick Grayson in his. Look, I don't think if he looked at it and didn't look at the graffiti, he wouldn't remember it. I think that the moment he looks at the statue, he would remember it. So I just thought, honestly, that Lex did that. I never even thought twice about it.
Mind blown.
Learn something new every day.
That's what's so
There you
great about
go.
those movies, man. There's always new stuff to learn about those movies. Love those movies.
And remember, now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
That's right. Actually, in this case, it's kind of the whole battle, right? Like, it's done. There's no more battle left. But yeah, that's I forgot even the topic. We're talking about the Snyder stuff. We kind of went on a tangent there. See, we started talking Snyder, and then we just kind of just go. Like there's no structure to it. It's just kind of going and talking about stuff we love. But yeah, Snyder's stuff coming out. New trailer. It's out there. Very easy to find. All you gotta do is Google Justice League, and it's gonna come out there. Check it out. Let us know what you think. You guys got any more thoughts you want on Snyder? Y'all want to start to get into some reviews?
Review it up, my friend.
Review it up then. Okay, cool. Well, let's. We got two things to review tonight. We're saving the big boy for last of Doom Patrol. So let's go ahead and talk about this week's episode of Stargirl. Fantastic show so far. Hasn't disappointed yet. I like this week's episode. Chris, get us going with this one, man.
I like that. I think that's what the show's done really well, and that's what I like about a lot of shows is that when there's something that's happened in the past, or we got a lot of mystery and questions, we see, we start putting the pieces together, and I really like the focus on Tyler's, situation and his family and his son.
Mm-hmm.
It's they just know how to put these kids all have their own different situations that they're dealing with. Mm-hmm. And each one of them is unique and carrying their own burdens and carrying their own pain. And, I can totally buy his son. I don't think he's just so angry. He's not villain angry. He wants answers, and he wants the people to pay that took away his life and took away his family. Mm-hmm. And I think the actor who's playing him is great. Dr. Midnight was interesting in the goggles at that point. I kind of called it that was going to be her even before, I know we saw it in posters, but that one I'd be interested to see a little bit more out of her. I'm still not totally sold on her yet. Not saying she is bad at it. I want to see her in action, how she's using it versus it just came off a little gimmicky this week.
Okay. I noticed a huge difference in her this week and the prior weeks. Obviously she had more screen time, but just acting wise, just a different character. It almost seemed like
she's portraying her character very well.
Very, very
well. That kind of yeah.
What do you think, Sarah? Just overall thoughts and views.
Oh, I love Stargirl. I absolutely adore it. thing that I'm really loving about it, and Chris kind of touched on this, is the character development. Is the fact of, you first see all these characters, and they have these backstories. You just don't know how deep they are. And then to see this one kind of got me too, because I'm thinking, as a parent, I'm like, I could not leave my child. And then I kind of understand, I feel his anger, because my son would feel the same way. I mean, he'd probably be there. He'd be punching trees too, probably. But I think it's just the character development. You really love these characters. You are invested in these characters. You want to know what happens. And it gives a lot of insight when you do see their backstories, when you do see what happened, especially with Yolanda. Why was she so closed off? And then when you see her backstory, you're thinking, oh, I'm surprised she even wants to talk to people, to even open up to anyone. So, and that's what's really grabbed me, is just the fact that I want to know more. It's not just, okay, here's we're just going to present it like this. No, you can there's more. And I think it's really, it's kind of humorous to see how they're starting to, like, with the gun and the hourglass, and even the staff, just how they're interacting with these items that have their own, they're kind of characters of their own, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think Beth, her character is gonna evolve a bit more. I mean, there's just a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they're trying to focus on each one, and didn't think it was kind of fair to put Dr. Midnight and Our Man together, because really, to me, I felt like it was more like Our Man versus Dr. Midnight, because it kind of more focused on his backstory. I'm just really curious to see what Beth's backstory is. I mean, she has, you've already been introduced to her mom. You kind of know where she's come, we're a little bit, a taste of what she does. You don't really know anything about her dad, because, the only thing she said, I kind of feel bad for her, because she's on her own, basically. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I think it's just the way they're grabbing you and wanting you to know about these characters. That's what's really, to me, just kind of sets this show apart from any shows I've seen in the past, basically, or in a while, honestly. But
yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely one of those shows. I watch a lot of stuff for all the different podcasts that we're on and different stuff we want to cover. And there's sometimes when you watch it where it sometimes kind of feels like homework. But I know that every time I turn Stargirl on, I'm genuinely excited to see what happens next. Like, I'm turning that on because I want to see it. Like, even if we're not going to talk about Stargirl, I'm going to watch that episode. Like, some things, if we're not talking about it that week, cool, I'll put it off till next week because I've just time constraints. But this show, I'm excited to watch, every Friday before, because I like to watch it right before the podcast, so that way it's fresh in my mind. But it's a really, really exciting one to watch, really fun. And DC's savior, from what I say. T-Bone, now you like the show too. What's up?
Oh, I loved it, Greg. I don't even need to say anything about character development because Chris and Sarah touched on it so good. So I'll bring up some extra thoughts. I think they might be building up Grundy a little bit too much. I hope that he's really high quality when we do get to see him, because we haven't really gotten a clear shot of him yet. Mm-hmm. I think we've seen him twice now. So I'm just wondering, like, it could be a really big reveal. It could, if they nail the look a la Doomsday from Krypton. Like, if they nail the look of Grundy, I think that'll be great, because the way they're building him up would not give me a clear shot of him. I think that'll be great. Like, that, if they nail it, it'll be awesome for the show. I really love Beth, like Sarah and Chris were saying. I enjoyed the glasses too. I enjoyed the gimmick, actually, for the first episode. I agree with Chris that I think it might get old if it stays the same way, if she doesn't mature as a character. But they laid some groundwork, a lot more groundwork for her in the previous four episodes than they did for Rick Tyler, we'll call him Rick Tyler.
He's Rick Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they gave him more screen time I think that's why they gave him more screen time this episode, because they haven't laid any groundwork for him yet. So he gets more of this full episode to kind of understand where he's at. Plus, he's a direct descendant of a JSA member, and she's not. Well, and I wanted to ask you guys too.
Did we know?
I wanted to ask y'all too, because I guess we're going to start to get in the episode. And Eric, you're not currently watching this, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay, cool.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead. I'm not worried about spoilers. I'll still watch it regardless.
I think
Okay,
you'll
good
enjoy
deal.
it, Eric. I really think you'll
really
enjoy
Oh
will,
it.
yes, absolutely.
I just didn't want to skip over you if you hadn't, but I thought you said beforehand you were watching it. But we'll get through this and we'll get to Doom Patrol, and I'm sure you're gonna roar from the top of the mountain there.
We'll let him take the lead on that.
That works
Oh
for
no,
me.
I ain't got to go that far.
But all right, so gosh, what I was gonna say was, are her parents villains?
Who's?
What's her
Beth?
name?
I don't think so.
Hey Beth,
Yeah, Beth.
I think
I
that
don't
she's
know.
just. I
Go
almost want to
ahead.
say she's like a latchkey kid.
Yeah.
Just like her parents are just very involved, and then they kind of. I mean, her mom and her dad basically are very annoyed by her.
They
And how?
mentioned Chris that she mentioned to Courtney's mom that they like made terrariums and stuff like that for a nice while. Then the parents just went back to work full bore.
All right, they said,
So-
they said they were ready to get their lives back together or something like that.
Now that she
Yeah.
was older. But her mom worked with
Brainwave.
yes.
That's
so
what I'm wondering. Yeah, so maybe she's evil.
but then you don't know anything about her dad because apparently he's a salesman that's always on business trips. So
An even
Oh.
better way to be evil.
What you got? What do you
would
guys
be a-
think of
it
it?
would be a
Sorry,
twist.
Chris.
I mean, it would be a twist because I could see that, but right now we haven't seen that. Everyone else that we've seen as a villain, we've already seen up front. So that would be a twist that we haven't seen yet. I mean, it'd be a cool shock. I would like it's not a bad idea, Sarah.
well, I mean, also too, with her not having her parents around, that might be more of an incentive to her to befriend and become part of the group.
Mhm.
So that's another because everybody has their own. It's almost like they're ostracized in their own ways. So they kind of come together as the not really misfits, but
Well, it was
something
one of
along those lines.
Well, as one illustrious hero once said, she needs friends.
She's a gift all the time. All the time. Yep.
What were you trying to say, Travis?
What?
You were trying to say something before I interrupted you.
Oh God, I can't even remember now. I got right into it. Well, I think Courtney and Pat should be discussing and communicating. I think that's a horrible thing because he could actually help them, but I can understand why because all he says is stop, don't do anything. He needs to get on board with that. But the one thing I did, what do you guys think about Brainwave's son? Seems like he's starting to get used to his powers.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
noticed
see that
that.
coming. So it makes you wonder if Brainwave's coming back. I mean, usually a villain has a tragic loss or something like that. They want heroes do too, I suppose. But I just wonder if his dad's gonna not make it, or something's gonna happen to him, and that's what's gonna kind of push him over the edge and learn his powers. But he doesn't know anything about it at all, does he?
Something tells me Icicle's going to tell him that Stargirl killed his father. Icicle may even kill Brainwave to basically get his son.
Not a bad idea.
Well, he's done it before.
Terrible idea, I won't say that. I'm trying to think. Oh, I wanted to talk. Why was Courtney and Yolanda being so rude to? Why can't I remember her name?
Beth.
Beth. Why were they being so rude and to her? It seemed to me like two girls who always complained about not having anybody or didn't have any friends and were kind of away from everybody else in regular world, or regular society. I guess in high school, wouldn't push somebody away that quickly because they were constantly trying to get her to, no, you stay here, no, you're not part of this type deal. Was it because she stumbled on it and I guess they wouldn't have chosen her otherwise?
I think that's part of it, and I think it's just another. They're kind of in their little. Courtney feels like she's choosing who goes.
Okay.
She's choosing her group. I mean, she went after Yolanda. She went after Rick. And Beth kind of stumbled into it. So I think that's one of those where Courtney didn't have control over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
And maybe she doesn't. She kind of comes up and says, "Oh, this is so cool." This is she doesn't Courtney is now starting to see the gravity of what starting to see the gravity of what they're trying to do. When Beth, and it's not Beth's fault, she doesn't get what's going on. Just think, "Oh, this is cool. What are you doing? Oh, this is this." She's still very happy-go-lucky, and I think I like seeing the changeover in her character when they go to the crash site and she shows, like, she starts getting it that this is bigger. This is not something that this is funny
It's not
games.
a game.
Yeah. And so that's when I liked seeing that transition for Beth, because I was hoping something like that would happen, because that character needs to, make that shift very soon.
Well, that kind of happened with Courtney too, because when she first started, she was like, "Oh, this is cool. We're going to go out and do this," and then of course, events happen, and she realizes, okay, this isn't a game. So maybe that's Beth's.
Yeah.
That's her moment,
Joey.
to realize that this, this is real. This is not just, some fun little goggles. It's not a toy. So.
Well, Yolanda even says that Beth's superpower is talking, because she can be a little intense. They've built that up in the last few episodes. She can be a little intense at times for even her parents. So I understand why they did that. But like Chris says, at the end, I think she's starting to realize the gravity of it, and I think she's going to do quite well. I'm interested to see how she interacts with the owl whenever that comes about. I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah,
That's going to become her best friend, because she doesn't really have anybody.
I might listen to her. She can talk to.
Yeah, exactly.
Travis, you were talking about how Pat just needs to get on board with this, and I think that after this episode that he's probably going to. I think he's starting to realize that, okay, this is happening. There's nothing I can do to stop it, and it's here right now. Mm-hmm. It'd be different if he thought that they were maybe somewhere else and weren't together working, but he's starting to kind of believe that maybe they're all in Blue Valley, and he's right, because as far as I understand it, most of them are, right?
Well, Rex sent him all his work, and we see him open that up at the end there. Well, not quite in, but almost at the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just coming from comic knowledge. I mean, so far in the comics, Courtney treated Pat even worse, to the point where Courtney pretty much almost revealed to the town who Pat was, his whole thing. And she was a royal pain in the neck. I mean, so much so that, like I said, so the fact that they're butting heads as lightly as they are right now is nowhere near how bad it was in the comics when this character was introduced at that point.
Luke Wilson's too likable for that.
Right. Can't hate that guy.
I don't know. I mean, after his, it's funny seeing him go through, because he's starting to put two and two together, especially with the But I mean, when he went and he figured out who Rex was, or who Rick was, you can kind of see on his face he's starting to put two and two together. And I think when he found that bag, I don't know I think he and Courtney are going to have another. I think they're going to butt heads big time. I think he's going to freak out again, because he's just like, I told you, and you still, damn it, you still did it. So
you have no idea what you have in your bag.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I'm just reading his face. It's just I've looked that way plenty of times.
Greg, how excited did you get by that lantern?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I want one of those, man. I need to buy one of those. I don't know why I don't just have one sitting around somewhere. I mean, I do have a replica ring, but I don't have a lantern. I should get one very, very soon. Dang it!
Did you see what Guggenheim tweeted out this week, Greg?
No.
Okay, work on that. I'll send it in the chat. You'll appreciate it.
Okay. Let's see, Stargirl. I'm trying to think. I had a couple points I wanted to bring up about this episode. Now that I'm sitting here talking about it, I can't remember hardly any of it.
Did you guys think that the way that he saw his parents actually die was a little bit similar to Tony Stark from Civil War?
I did not think about that.
Yeah.
Because he thought they died from a crash, and same thing what he did, and then both of them were actually revealed the footage. Except like Tony, the fellow who killed his parents, was right in front of Tony's. That was the only difference.
Right. Well, yeah. So I mean, I guess then you would have at least known that it was a person doing it with Tony. With this, you didn't know what it was. You just saw a monster. Yeah. So it was cool how they connected that. Like you said, we talked about the 66 yellow Mustang, and he put two and two together. So I want to ask you, if you guys discover you get this power like he did, where he gets the hourglass, he turns it over for the first time, he gets the super strength. He walks by that restaurant and sees his uncle, which I guess
I'd have done the same thing.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
I'd have
would
done
you have done the same thing, or would you have done
worse?
Probably way worse. I probably would have done way worse. Not gonna lie.
I know I would.
This guy's obviously fought him in real life, and like they fought, and he's taken him down a couple times. I'm going in that bar and I'm taking that guy down, and then I'll go do something else.
I'll be right back.
All right.
I can't believe, I can because it's cliche story. I mean, I kind of saw this coming the way that his sister was telling her brother, saying you have to take care of him at that point. I kind of saw this as coming, so it was cliched, but man, I don't know. I'm a different person in the sense of that, but it's just like, how can you just look at your own flesh and look at your own sister or look at your own relative, and they're saying, I'm giving you the most important thing in my life that you need to take care of. I'm sorry that but I'm asking you to take care of it because, just basically hints, and this happens, that he says, like, you have no idea, like, the life I could have had without you. I was like, oh my God, jeez.
Dick.
You're scum.
He's a dick.
Yeah.
Well,
That's an asshole. Yes.
And he raised a good point too. Whenever him and Rick kind of first started butting heads, he raised a good point about. He was like, "Well, what would you be right now?" He's like, "If it wasn't for me, you'd be what do you say, a millionaire in Silicon Valley."
Yeah,
Like, I'm sure. So that's kind of my thing too. And by the way,
but you also saw the brother didn't obviously knew or of who Rex was, or at that point, because as soon as he pulled up, he just looked at Rex and, "What did you do?"
Yeah. Man, I tell you, it won me over. The soundtrack for this show is fantastic. I watched. They had Everclear playing, and man, I love that whole album right there that they were playing off of. So, kudos to the soundtrack on this one. Actually, it's all been pretty good. Music on the show is really good. Not quite as good as Umbrella Academy, which all y'all need to check out, by the way. Great show. But season 2 is coming out real soon. But let's see, what else? Travis, point some stuff out, man. I'm floundering.
I think we hit a lot of the points, Greg. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next week. Are they going to recruit any more people? Are we going to have an episode where they just fight? I haven't seen a trailer yet, so I wonder, will they just fight bad guys, or will they recruit another person? And now you're going to look at the title of the episode until it drops.
Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't
hasn't
looked at it
dropped
either.
yet.
Okay. I know by the end of the season we got the whole team together, right?
I think so. I don't know if we'll get a Green Lantern. I'm really curious about that because the Ring has to choose somebody normally, and like with Green Lantern show coming up, I'm just so dang curious.
That's true. I guess they could cross it over.
I'll actually say if we see Green Lantern, I'll be more confident that we'll see Diggle suit up as a Green Lantern at some CW show going forward. I would be more confident in that happening.
That would be awesome. What if they just surprised you? You didn't know anything about it, and all of a sudden just showed up in one episode.
I think they want to promote it so they get more views.
Nah, Travis. They just want Travis to shit his pants. That's what they want.
Well, it depends on the show. I might not even be watching right now.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, man, it's a Stargirl. Like I said, we talked a lot about it. We love everybody on this panel so far loves this show. If you're not watching it, check it out. It's a really, really fun episode. Not too long. What, 44, 45-minute episodes? Just about, give or take here or there. So we're in episode 5 right now. So you're not far behind if you haven't started. Go check it out. Really great show. But let's get to the Mac Daddy. Let's get to the big show. Let's get to the big point everybody was wanting to come on the show to talk tonight and talk about, and what's been basically dominating my whole week of viewing. So not basically, it has been dominating my whole week of viewing, but it's been a good week, and I'll talk about that a little more. But I'm going to pass the ball to Eric on this one because he specifically messaged me a few weeks ago and asked us that when we started Doom Patrol if he could talk with us about it, because I'd asked if he wanted to come on one time, and this was the specific show he picked because Doom Patrol guy right here loves it. So start us out, man. Just overall view of season 1. We'll kind of do a roundtable of that, and then we'll get into specifics that we liked in episodes.
That I can't get over Chris's background now. That is fucking brilliant.
Has it changed the Skype? Oh, there you go. I like it. I'm watching the feed, not the Skype video. I like it.
But there's not really much that I can like. There's no real solid way to introduce this show because it is the show that we all got that we didn't know we needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I think when me and my wife, it was like 3 episodes in, and we were like, we went into it with like not expecting much of anything. We're like, okay, we'll give it a try. After the first episode, when the donkey farts, and we were like, okay, we gotta finish.
Okay. Interesting viewpoint on that, because my wife thought the exact opposite at that point. So,
Probably my wife
has very crude sense of humor. It's brilliant. But we laugh at the same goofy shit, so it works out.
Hey, there you go. That's a good thing to have right there. Is that in common together? But yeah. So overall, man, you love Doom Patrol. I know that. Like,
Oh, absolutely. I've actually been going back and reading some of the Grant Morrison run on Comicsology this week.
see, now you're talking Chris's language right there. Which, by the way, Chris, man, I know you love this too because you were pushing for it real hard. So give me some Doom Patrol overall season 1 review stuff.
Alan Tudyk just owns this show. I mean, like I said, I tweeted it out when I was in the middle of the rewatch, just saying that, its second episode is saying, who are you talking to? Grant Morrison fans, the DC universe, the people who stuck around, the 3 people who stuck around after the donkey fought in the last episode. It's just like the whole show just breaks the fourth person, and that is Grant Morrison's run. That whole comic is just breaks so much fourth wall. He's brilliant in it. I've said it before. I love the episodes where we got backstories on these characters and understanding, if I had to choose my favorite episode out of the character development, it'd probably be Jane and Larry. Would be probably
nice.
Would probably be the one that really just that's the thing. Like, people could say you could have just a weird show of weird characters, but like we keep on saying, character development, the stories behind them, who they really are, and I think Larry's is the most heartbreaking. That he just did not get it, and just that last moment he was able to have with his, what do we want to call him at that point? His secret boyfriend. That he regrets, and it's just. And I could see where Greg's point was, where he told us that, the first time around he got through 5 episodes and it just wasn't clicking for him. And that's what that was. Those episodes were like individual stories at that point, but we weren't really connecting. But I loved the episode. I thought it was really cool when they did the episode that we had happen 3 times. Like 3 different things when they were in Jane's mind, like 3 different things were going on.
Yeah, that was my favorite episode of the season, actually, Chris.
And everything with Danny the Street, Flex Mentallo. Flex Mentallo brought a whole different thing, and that the infamous penultimate scene, he flexed the wrong muscle.
Oh my god!
The first time I saw that, I was like, did that just happen on a TV show where they just all at once sat?
I couldn't breathe.
I had to go back and say, I don't know if it really happened. Let me go back and just make sure this happened. And that, if it wasn't, at that point I already knew they leaned hard into Grant Morrison. Man, that just said that is pure Grant Morrison right there.
I was at work watching that scene with my phone sitting at my desk, and people like mail carriers coming in and giving me their time cards so I can put the time in. And that
Greg,
scene's
what are
going
you
off,
watching?
and I was like,
Greg, man.
Everybody at work does it crazy. I ain't worried about it.
Turn off the hub.
Headphones.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Sorry, just walk back into it. So, Chris, that's your overall. Did anybody else want to talk overall? You want to get into some stuff? Sarah, you love it.
I think I know you guys rewatched the whole thing, but I just, in essence, rewatched the first episode. And the thing that got me, because I did make a few notes about that. I think the very first dialogue from Mr. Nobody, it says basically, ready for a story about superheroes. And you're thinking, what? And he gets into it a little bit more. Let's see, what else? Or what if I actually told you this was a story about super zeros, losers, achingly pathetic metahuman goose egg? How about that? It was just that added to it. So that's what And I was trying to remember, like, how did I react when I first heard this? And I think because you were introduced to him in Titans, so that's what really got me to want to see Doom Patrol. When I saw it there, I said, "Oh," because this was an eclectic crowd. So now there's a series about them. This is going to be good. And whoa, was I right? So, but yeah, there was. And I think that first episode, when you're getting Cliff's backstory, that hit me a lot differently. I don't know, I guess it's because I knew what was going to happen, but then, I don't know, it just hit me. I was just like, oh my gosh, I could not imagine being this guy, going through what he's going through. It's just like with Jane, when you finally realize how she kind of split into her personalities. I'm thinking, because once it got more to in her story and you're starting to go that, especially when you see her walking down the hallway, I'm thinking, no, don't. And it is. But yeah, and another thing also is, it's kind of like everyone's abilities. It kind of mirrors the worst of themselves. If that makes any sense. Rita, she was all about this Hollywood starlet, and then what's the worst thing that could happen to someone that was so superficial? You become a melting blob.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then, and Larry, I mean, he didn't really choose, what happened to him. And, his, like you said, his story is very heartbreaking as well, because he has he has his secret relationship, and then he has to learn how to deal with this entity that's inside of him. And of course, Jane, dealing with, I couldn't even imagine, what she has, what she deals with to keep herself together. And I thought it was really something interesting how Cliff kind of took it upon himself to start taking care of her in later episodes. When she kind of fractured a little bit more, and she wanted to just kind of be off on her own, and he like bring her dinner, leave it outside, or he genuinely cared about her. And this is a robot man. Basically, the only thing living about him is his brain. Mm-hmm. Which that still makes no sense, but
he's got a nutrient tank.
Yeah, so I mean, because he tells you real quick in the first episode what he can and cannot do, and there's a lot of things he cannot do. So, yeah, man, I think just overall, it's just like you said, they're superheroes. It's like they're anti-heroes. Mm-hmm. They mean well. They finally realize once they get their act together that they can make a difference, and they mean well. They just have a very interesting way of getting there. Yeah, it's a weird
and
story. I swear, every episode it seems like I literally would be crying because I would laugh so hard. Either the joke, or either I cannot honestly believe I'm seeing this on screen right now.
Right.
Because I think the last episodes are just like, oh my God.
Who would have thought you would have been really impressed by a cockroach and a mouse making out?
Yeah. Seriously.
What about the rat story? It's like, I vow revenge.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, dude.
Hey,
but to meet the roach, like, throughout. You meet him in the beginning, if I remember correctly, but...
Do y'all know the roaches? Who played the voice of the roach? I should have looked it up. Does anybody know?
Oh yeah, I know exactly who that was. It was Curtis Armstrong, the guy who played
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes,
that's what I thought immediately when I heard that. I was like, okay, pretty sure it's him. So, okay, cool. Recognize that voice right away. Trying to think. There was. Oh yeah, Travis, give us some overall, and then I'll give mine because mine's a little different than all y'all's.
Character development is huge. Like, it makes us care. We care about every one of these characters before they go on their really crazy zany antics. We get a lot of that early too. But I just loved it. It wasn't what I was expecting either. But I gotta say, one really underrated move that it doesn't get talked about enough is changing who played the Chief from the Titans crossover to now, because I just love Timothy Dalton. I think his Bond movies are very underrated. They're not like the typical ones in the series, and he's fantastic as Bond, the way he plays it. So I just thought that was a great move. I love Jane Patrol. Is probably my favorite episode. Just seeing what the actress did with Jane was very impressive. Very impressive.
This reminds me of Tatiana Maslany and what she did in Orphan Black, playing as many different characters as she did. Like Diane Guerrera is just, it takes a special breed of actress to ever do something like that, and man, give her an award for that.
Mr. Nobody, fantastic as well. It's great casting. Alan Tudyk really just commits to roles like this, and that's what you want. He's very hilarious. Like Chris couldn't have said anything better. Like he broke it down perfectly. Like that, some of my favorite moments are from Alan Tudyk's Mr. Nobody. Pretty much fell in love with every character, and I can still see how it took you an extra rewatch, Greg, to get into it, because sometimes like these stories don't catch you right away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited for season 2. I can't wait. Stupid Katie already knows about the first 3 episodes.
Yeah,
Well, even that extended trailer looks crazy. That extended trailer. Oh my god!
I love you, Katie.
Yeah, here's my thing with Doom Patrol is I gave it a watch when it first came out, and I guess when this first came out, that was kind of when this show was about 3 or 4 months into its existence. So we were just kind of getting our footing and learning how to get there, and that was the point in time where I know I was binge watching Young Justice, I was binge watching Titans, and I was binge watching everything in the DC animated universe. So I had a lot to take on at the time. So I think that when I started watching this, it felt almost like homework, because I didn't really know a lot about Doom Patrol before, really not much at all about Doom Patrol before the show. So it almost seemed like homework. So I got through the first 4 episodes, and I wasn't really impressed. And I would find myself at the end of halfway through every episode, kind of pausing it to see how much longer I had left, which for me is like a big sign that you're not really enjoying yourself. Because if you're enjoying yourself when it ends, you're like, oh, I can't believe it's over type deal. So I kind of felt that way, and I kind of dropped off on it, stopped watching. We weren't going to cover it at that point in time. So okay, I'll just come back to this some other point in time. Season 2 comes out, everybody wants to cover it. Awesome, I've got something new to binge watch now. Mm-hmm. So where I left off at was episode 4, or at the end of 5.5, I think, was like right in the middle of 5 beforehand. So I just kind of started it right there, because I just remember that I remember some stuff from the first 4 episodes, but didn't really like it a whole lot. When I got to episode about 6.5, 7 was when I really started to, okay, now I want to know what happens next in the story. Because before, Travis, you were saying that you felt like right from the beginning it was characters you cared about. I didn't feel like it was characters I cared about at all until about episode 5 or 6. Or excuse me, about 6 or 7, where they start to really, really go into everybody's background. So that was when I felt more attached to the characters. And I think that was kind of part of the problem why I didn't like it. But 2, I felt like it was more of a time constraint now. Now I'm watching it, obviously, for the show again. But I want to watch it now because y'all are all my friends and y'all all love it. Generally, whatever y'all love, I like too. So I wanted to check it out and see what you like. And as it went on, it was fantastic. It was so fun that I even watched it at work today, because I was so bored at work for a little while, because there's sometimes at the end of the day where I'm waiting for people to come in and I have nothing to do. So I just started watching it, and it was super exciting. It's been a fun watch, and I'm excited for season 2 now. I went from not liking it all to not loving it, but it's a pretty good show, and I'm excited for season 2. They sold me on the last half of that season. So.
Greg, we told you.
Yeah. It definitely got crazy. And Chris kept telling me every time I'd say I'd put an episode out there, like, yeah, just finish Therapy Patrol, just finish James Patrol. Chris was like, just wait. It gets even crazier. And I was like, nah. They can't get that much crazier.
Each episode was like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
It was like just kept going.
Well, Greg, you said that, but you also were very much, you were watching Umbrella Academy at the time, and that Umbrella Academy is definitely, I've not watched it, but the way you've described it and other people described it, it is a take some cues from Doom Patrol, and not in the sense of just a group of ragtag kind of misfit heroes at that point. But you've seen Umbrella Academy, I haven't, so what do you think in comparison of the two? I
was more interested in Umbrella Academy, but I think that once again may just be with timing. That was what me and Nathan kind of started to show off on, was Umbrella Academy. So I was really passionate about watching it then, and Nathan really loved it, and it is a really great story. Like, if you get a chance, check it out. It's a fun watch, and season 2 comes out really soon. But I guess now that you think about it, I guess there are kind of similarities between it. It's the same kind of thing of, like I said, a group of people who aren't brothers and sisters coming together, live in a mansion, controlled by a guy who's not really telling them the full truth about everything, kind of in this Professor X role. So yeah, it does have some similarities to it. It's more about world destruction in Umbrella Academy, but I'm sure it's probably going to get to that point in Doom Patrol, here or there. So I like Umbrella Academy a little better.
Well, see, Greg, I kind of feel like that's how I feel about. I started Umbrella Academy, hearing you and Nathan talk about it, and I really wasn't into that. But I mean, like I said, I think now it didn't grab me the way Doom Patrol did.
Okay.
But I think now I could probably go back and I think I might have gotten into maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes.
That show's the same kind of way. You got to get to, I think, about the 4th episode, it really starts to take off.
But it's on my list to catch back up on.
Sarah, have you seen The Boys?
I have not. Whoa. I have not. That's on my list too. I know. Even Brian's like, yeah, we got to watch that.
You have got
That's so
to watch
good.
The
That's
Boys.
I know.
They haven't announced the release date, but it's going to be probably in a couple of months.
Yeah.
I imagine around the same time they did last year. What did they do last year? About September?
July.
Was it July? Okay.
I think it was July, wasn't it?
I think it was July.
Yeah, it was towards the end of the summer. I know that. Yeah.
How many seasons do they have of just the one, or they got the one? How many episodes?
I think 10.
10?
10
Yeah,
or 12. It's not a lot.
Yeah. They pack a lot in, so it's,
When you start
I've heard
watching
you guys briefly talking about it, so.
Yeah, when you start watching it, I don't
Definitely.
think you'll be able to pull yourself away from it, because it's one of those shows where at the end you're like, oh my gosh, what happens next? Yeah.
Okay,
I've got to see
fantastic.
it. So,
More 2 a.m. mornings.
there you go. Nothing wrong with that during COVID, right? All right, so y'all bring up some points. What are some things you want to point out other than the butts? What were those things? Were they just calling them the butts? The butts.
Yeah. You gotta watch out. You gotta watch out for the butts.
Yeah.
Don't let the butts get out.
I didn't think I heard him right when they said the butts are out, the butts are out. I'm sitting like, what the fuck did he just say? And then all of a sudden you see these rabid ass cheeks like running down the fucking hall.
See, that's the beauty of subtitles, because I did see it and I was like, wait a second. I was like, something crazy is going to happen here in just a little while.
Yeah.
Now I will say that, like, to start off, like, to me, the opening music for this show was 10 times better, and I'm sorry, Travis, but it was 10 times better than anything that DC has ever released for their TV shows.
I can't really argue with you, to be honest with you.
Oh, sweet.
Win.
Not really. Maybe some animated signs like kind of stick in my head a bit more, but
Well,
for
well,
live
they
action,
they don't count because some of those are mostly nostalgia, like the Superman theme or the
that's why I
Batman.
said I said live action TV. I think you're right out of money here, Eric.
Because I mean, it was just dark. Like for the longest time, it was actually my wife's ringtone because she loved the song just as much as I did. So it was just like it was dark, but it was beautiful at the same time, like well orchestrated.
It's an intro that I don't skip. You know, you always get the option to skip intro.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Don't ever skip this one. It's crazy. You know what else I found out about DC, the DC app today is, you know how Netflix, you can download certain things so you can watch them offline? Didn't realize you could do that with DC app either. But you can only...
They just added that not long ago.
Did they? Okay. Because I was worried because at work I don't get good reception. So I just I came home for lunch and I downloaded all 3 of them, the last 3 episodes of my phone. So
I can feel Brent from Fans Without Borders shaking because I think he would want me to remind somebody after hearing his story a couple times. It doesn't work out very well. Like the downloading onto app is very funky at best. I don't think it might. I don't depend on it to watch episodes. That's basically what I can say.
Yeah, even when I went to Costa Rica, I needed to download a whole bunch of comics. It literally took me a good 30-40 minutes to figure out where the hell are they. I know I downloaded them. It downloaded because my memory went down on my iPad. Where the heck are they? So I think they've made small improvements, but that's still obviously, besides you getting them, Travis, it's a small work in progress.
Well, HBO Max has the same issue apparently. So early on, from what I've seen from Brent's feed, that he had the same issue but trying to watch, or he had some issue like that but trying to watch Shazam offline, or it would, like, if he watched 30 minutes, when he go to watch it again, it will start back at 0.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, they still haven't figured that out. I think actually though, DC's done better with it because for the most part, some reason my Fire Stick was screwing up left and right this afternoon while I was trying to watch Harley Quinn, but it seemed to hit back where it needed to.
okay.
Great episode, Chris. Great episode.
Yeah.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But
It's
Greg, that's
pretty
the same. Sorry, you
I
go
hate
here.
Harley Quinn.
What do you
I'm
hate?
level that. I hate Harley Quinn, but for some odd reason, I love that show.
Okay. All right. I was about to say, wait a minute, you're watching it. I hate. Okay, now I get what you're saying. Yep.
I think it's Dr. Psycho personally, because I don't mind Harley Quinn so much in that show, but Dr. Psycho won me over by calling Wonder Woman what he called. I lost my shit when he did that. It was just one of those things like, wait, what?
Now, Eric, do you think it's because of the oversaturation of Harley these days is why you don't like?
That's why.
Okay.
She started back in the 90s with the Batman animated series, and all of a sudden she blew up like out of nowhere. And I'm sorry, I mentioned this in my podcast. I'm not a fan of her because people look up to her for the wrong reason. Like, if you're looking up to her and, like, you see the posts on Facebook and shit where it's just like, people want that kind of a relationship, like Joker and Harley. And I'm sitting there like, why? Why the hell would you want that?
Healthy.
I think it's meant to be a cautionary tale. You've missed the direction on that
Right.
one.
Exactly.
That's the point.
I mean, the way that people should be looking at it are like nowadays you have people that get in really bad relationships, men and women alike. I think they should look at it more after she breaks up with the Joker to show the fact that, hey, you could be perfectly fine without that one person that's bringing you down. You've just got to stand up. Like that. That is what you should look up to her for, not that other shit.
And that's what this show is all about, so I can definitely see why you like this portrayal.
Well, I think they hit really hard on that in the movie in Birds of Prey. I think that was kind of the focus of Birds of Prey, but then they really, really kind of tried to hammer that one in.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna leave that one alone too.
You really are like Nathan.
I didn't like it because the action was great. I love the action. I watched the action clips on YouTube, but I literally tried to watch about 30 minutes of the movie, and I was just like, I can't fucking watch this shit.
Okay.
It was like watching a poor attempt at trying to make a Deadpool movie for DC.
Okay, I can see the comparison. Well, we kind of chased a squirrel there.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I don't think you
Don't
took
be
it.
sorry for squirrels.
Yeah, we like squirrels.
You
here.
accept those squirrels
that's
on
what we
this show.
do.
I've listened to you guys now for about 2 months, so yeah, I understand that.
We chase the squirrels.
That's right. It wouldn't be a regular show if we didn't. And I think that might be like the second one we've done all show. So we're kind of behind.
Maybe third.
Yeah, we're kind of behind normal par levels here. But
Blaming you, Nathan. Blaming you.
Yeah, that's right. It's Nathan's fault.
I've got a squirrel that we could chase again. Speaking of Doom Patrol, there are 3 actors in that show, the first season anyways, that have been on Doctor Who.
Oh, okay.
One of them being the Chief.
Mm-hmm.
The Chief was the president of Gallifrey in the episodes The End of Time. Cyborg was also in Doom Patrol as a character named Rigsby. And Mark Shepard. But he's been in just about everything geek-related that you can possibly think of.
Right. Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know all that. Interesting. I'm trying to think. What else, guys? Any points you wanted to bring up about Doom Patrol that really blew you away that you want to talk about on the review of season 1 before we?
Robot Man's character development.
Okay.
You guys keep talking about character development.
Okay.
Can we just go from saying that he was the only one that asked the real question in just about every episode? You couldn't go 5 seconds without him saying, "What the fuck?"
That's usually the best question to ask.
It's
Usually,
like the tagline. It's like Doom Patrol, and then that's the subtitle.
I mean, he
You gotta say it like 3 or 4 times though.
Yeah,
Not
like
just
he went
one
on to
time.
he just left out what and just the fuck, that kind of thing. But speaking of the character development of it, it was like it started off like the first 4 or 5 episodes. It was like, what the fuck, and then towards the end, it's just like shit happens. Let's just roll with it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even question shit anymore. Like this is happening. I'm accepting it.
Well, I think that Brendan Fraser, like when I first started watching this, hearing that voice took me out of it because he's such a big name from my childhood, watching a lot of different movies, and I think that he let out all the fucks in this show that he wanted to let out his entire career in every movie he was in, but couldn't. Because in every movie he's in, he has that moment where he should be saying, "What the fuck, but he's not. Now he's letting all that out because we were going to play a drinking game and take a shot. At least me and Sarah talked about it, but I say talked about it. It was brought up. We didn't actually discuss doing it. Every time he said fuck, and then when she had mentioned that, I was watching the last episode, and I think he says fuck 8 or 9 times in one phrase, and I was like, no, I can't do that game. I could try. I'm a drinker. I don't think I do that game. Yeah. So.
I mean, he had like the like best moments in the first 2 episodes. Like, how could you not get any form of enjoyment when they introduce Cyborg? But right before they introduce him, it's Robot Man chasing a donkey through the rubbles of this fucking city, just talking shit to him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get that. Like I said, the first few episodes weren't really my cup of tea. But like I said, and I brought this up the other day. I think the reason why that is because I didn't know the characters very well. But then I immediately followed that with, but it's not the show writer's responsibility for me to know those characters walking into the show. So it's that's my kind of justification for, okay, I didn't like it because of that, but that's not nobody's fault but my own for not knowing these characters. So
now, I would recommend reading Grant Morrison's run. Highly recommend that if you want a better understanding of the characters. But like Nathan said last week, I remember him saying that Doom Patrol is a superhero show on acid.
Yeah.
Grant Morrison wrote it. That is 100% accurate.
Yep. What did you all think of this portrayal of Cyborg?
I didn't hate it. I didn't like. He was one of my least favorite of characters. I wish that we seen a little bit less of him in that jumpsuit. That jumpsuit started to annoy me by the end. I know it's absolutely for budgetary reasons. You save a hell of a lot by just having to show that little bit of Cyborg.
Doesn't look like we're changing next season.
No, we're definitely not. We're definitely not. But I did enjoy him and his father's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I can't talk about that one yet. I'll talk about that when we get closer to that part. But that shit had me fucked up, and you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Let's see, Cyborg for me. The actor did a great job. I really like the actor in this role. I think he did a really, really good job of. But I'm not a big fan of the suit. I'm not a big fan of the practical effect. It just doesn't look. It looks like a Kmart Halloween costume to me. Now, it did sort of. I don't know if it changed at all towards the end of the season, if it started to look better, if they were doing a better job of applying it to him or whatever, but it did sort of look better towards the end. But maybe that's just because I started to accept the characters more and like them a little more. Maybe I wanted to have something wrong with the show, so that's what I was focusing on at the beginning. But I just don't like. I don't like the look. Like I said, the actor's great, just don't particularly like the look of Cyborg. So hopefully they'll improve on that in the future, but we'll see.
I don't know. He had me pretty much won over when they first had him and Robot Man meet, and they were just pretty much shit talking each other. And what does the donkey have to do with anything? That's what I'm trying to figure out, asshole.
I love Brendan Fraser in this. I'm liking he's having his moment back. Because you want to look at an actor who had some pretty serious stuff he's had to deal with at that point. That's recently come out. For him to kind of get back in the limelight and doing just an amazing job, just being being this character's voice. Gosh, bravo. He did an amazing job.
Does he play the suit? Is he the guy in the suit, or is he just the voice?
No, he's just the voice.
Is it the same way with Larry? The actor plays Larry?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Matt Bomer's I've loved him since White Collar.
Mm-hmm.
Everything he does, he's just outstanding of an actor.
He's great.
And a great singer too. And regardless, I'm just glad he got to do those chops today in the episodes.
Oh, that song got stuck in my head for fucking days.
Was that the Danny Patrol? You know what I'm talking
God,
about?
yes.
Busting the song, yeah. That was
Nathan
episode
was
7,
like,
I think,
I was
right?
invested in the street.
That was.
Yeah, that was episode 7, I think.
Yeah, that was when it really started turning around for me. I think that was when started really doing it.
Now we've got 2 bearded gentlemen on here. What'd you think about?
No.
There you go. Done.
What did you think about?
My beard, he's getting aired out.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really strange. Now, Chris, you've read more of the comics. How comic book accurate is this character? Is it a real character that he wrote up that
Yes.
It's a real character.
eats beard, hair, and can trace trace that.
I've got to see if I've got it. It's been a while since I've read it. I've got to.
He looks like an actual supervillain
Mm-hmm.
in the comics. Like he's got an actual supervillain like uniform.
Gotcha. He's not like a mercenary.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, no, I saw that and I was like, nope, no way. No. And my wife watched little bits and pieces of the show with me. I told her, I was like, this show's gonna be crazy, and there's gonna be some gross stuff in it. It's just gonna happen, I promise you. And you're not gonna see it coming. She didn't watch a whole lot of it with me. So that reason. She was like, no, not watching this. I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna watch it. So.
Well, what did you guys think about the creepy factor for some of the episodes? Like the episode where we can't see that dude.
Yeah.
Yep. I gotta change it off. Yeah.
The episode where Jane and Robot Man were trapped in the snow globe, and you had the people on the woman at least. That shit was a little creepy.
Oh yeah, dude. There's tons of stuff about this show that's creepy. Like I'm telling
it's
you,
almost like what wasn't creepy.
Right. I got to the point at the end where I was almost expecting things to be creepy. Like I'm counting the weird ass things that can happen, and most shows that I watch, I try to figure out like what direction it's going. This one right here, I can't. That's the Beard Hunter.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like how he has a big ass symbol of a guy with a long beard. He's the Beard Hunter.
It was basically a mock of the Punisher skull, but it just had like a beard to it
Beard
instead.
to it, yeah. That's what it
But
was like.
I almost like this one. This one because it's creepy on all those levels. The actor plays creepy.
My wife cannot watch that episode. She watched it the one time, but that is the one episode that when we watch it together, she's like, no, we got to skip this one. I can't do it.
I will guarantee you, my wife would probably make it to the first sequence when he does something like that and say, "All right, I'm done." Like she would literally walk out. I agree. She would not watch that part. If she would, she wouldn't.
And they showed him again at the end of the episode at the end of the season on Danny Street, staring at the other motherfucker's beard, just like,
Just wants a little beard action.
no.
Speaking of some funny stuff that happened on Danny Street,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and talk about it. Y'all know what I'm gonna bring up. This scene was absolutely hilarious, and it was in what was the name of the episode? The
Pentultimate.
Pentultimate, yes. And you told me too, Chris, whenever I saw that, because I think I just got done watching Cyborg Patrol or something, or maybe Jane Patrol, something like that.
No, you had just gotten done with Danny Patrol. And
Okay.
I said, Danny's not done yet.
Okay, yeah. You were like, wait till that episode, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. The funniest part about this is, of course, they have Flex Metallo, who's there now, who is trying to flex in his position. He's trying to open up a portal for them to get into the white section. Or was it the white section? The white
space.
White
Yeah,
space
the white
of the
space.
comic, or of the story. And, of course, he flexes the wrong muscle, and everybody is having an orgasm
Flexes
on
their
screen.
muscle.
Yeah, at that time of time. You can say he flexed the wrong muscle, but it looked like everybody was pretty happy he flexed that muscle. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know,
Even
Jane
Danny.
was pretty
Jane
good.
was she was mad. She's
Yeah.
like,
Well, some people, I guess,
And then you had the fact that Robot Man was just like trying to figure out what was going on. Then when he finally figured it out, he was like just started faking with them.
That was the
And
funniest
the
part
fact-
of it for me.
No. The funniest part was all the street signs when Danny was actually having the orgasm too, and all the street signs turned into "Oh my God," and then the water or the fire hydrant just explodes on the street corner.
Yeah.
Oh God!
I
That
think
shit
Danny's a fantastic character too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, oh my God.
Well, it's funny because Chris told me to wait till I get to that episode, so I'm watching this episode today. I'm like, all right, I'm going to know the moment he's talking about.
You
When
will.
it
yeah,
gets
you will.
here, I'll know it. And as soon as I hit, I was like, yep, that's the moment. That's it right there. That was what he was talking about.
No, I was talking about the
That
white
is
space
crazy.
moment.
Like, that was insane, man. This show definitely takes it to another level. Just with the storytelling, with the crazy bullshit they do, and the fact that I love how throughout the whole show they're fourth wall breaking all the time, especially Alan Tudyk. Man, he is all the time talking about this show and this series, and being on public television, and like it's just insane listening to him talk about that kind of stuff. funny.
there's even that one part, like where he's wearing the DC T-shirt, the DC hat, holding a Doom Patrol poster, and it's just like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
He's a national treasure.
And you know,
Yes.
now that I watched this, I know we did our episode last week where we were talking about me and Travis were talking about our DC candidates for our fan casting the Joker. And Alan Tudyk was that guy that I thought about before, but I tried to stay away from people that were just like everybody's saying online. I didn't want to go with the popular opinion. Now that I watched Alan Tudyk do in this last episode, yeah, he could definitely play the Joker, man. Because I saw
he is
from
playing it.
Yeah, well, voicing it.
right, yeah. I mean, like between the last episode or the last two episodes, he shows you the crazy side and the total opposite side of the spectrum. Like this guy can act, man. He would play a really really good Joker. Like I back that 100% now that I've seen these last few episodes. Not that I didn't know him before, I just didn't want to say him before. But now that it's all out there, I'll say it. I think
Just say it.
yeah,
Just
exactly.
own it.
There you go. Exactly. Well, what else, y'all? I know there's a few more big things that had popped out for y'all. Love the show.
The rat.
The rat, Mr. Mr. Whiskers?
Admiral
Admiral
Whiskers.
Whiskers.
Yes. Talk to me about Admiral Whiskers.
That shit when he had they give him his backstory during therapy patrol, and
Yeah.
you see his mom get run over in the street, and he's like freaking out, and they do the little, can they give the rat subtitles?
Right.
And then when he shows up, and I'm really hoping that everybody understood the reference when he showed up in the window of Robot Man's window and quoted the Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, my name is Admiral Whiskers. You killed my mother. Prepare for revenge. I'm just like, God.
I'm sure Nathan is like, yup. Unfortunately, I've never seen Princess Bride. So,
What?
yeah, I know. That's what Nathan says too. Every time I say it, never seen it. Look, when I was growing up, the name of the movie was Princess Bride. Does it sound like something that I didn't sound like something I wanted to see?
Well, it sounds like he'll blend in with the character in the opening scene of the movie. At that point, you'll relate. The opening scene of the movie is exactly what that character says.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch that movie with your
I'm sure
kids,
the
Greg.
giant was in it,
Watch
dude.
it
How
with my kids.
much would you
Yes.
not want to watch?
It's a timeless classic.
Yeah, I have it. That's on my list of to watch with my daughter because I know she would love that because I've seen that movie 1,000 times. But.
Okay, side tangent. What is Princess Bride about? I don't even know what it's about.
We can't say it.
No,
There's no way to really.
Andre the
Yeah.
Giant's in it.
it's fairy tale, Greg.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I gotta go. Let me put it on the list.
You will. There's a lot of funny moments. I mean, come on. We got Andre the Giant. We've got Mandy Patinkin in it. We got Carrie Elways in it. You know,
Billy Crystal?
Y'all,
Yes.
No,
y'all
Billy
watch.
Crystal's in it.
Yeah.
Was Billy Crystal in it? I thought it was.
And
No,
Oh.
he's the
the
one
troll?
where the life with the troll life
and
in the bog after
who's
the
that?
bog.
Carol. Shoot, what's her name?
See, y'all can talk about it.
Carol
Y'all-
Kane.
Yes. Yes.
What about Fred Savage?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Greg at this point is Fred Savage in the beginning of the movie.
yes. And
That-
who's his grandfather?
Oh God, you got me
shoot.
Google.
Mel
Columbo.
Brooks? No?
The fellow that played Columbo.
Peter. Oh gosh.
I see his face right now. Yes.
I'm not gonna
You
lie,
gotta-
nothing y'all have described so far, actor-wise, or what the movie
And then
about has made me watch.
Wallace. Who's it? Wallace Shaw. Inconceivable.
Don't know. Just doesn't seem like. I mean, I'll give it a chance.
Sword
Peter
fights.
Is it Peter
Sword,
Falk?
Peter Falk. Yep, Peter Falk.
Greg's sword fights.
Oh, you got me sold
action.
Revenge.
Love story.
True
Toy.
love.
Poison.
Yes.
Matt,
Poison. Did you
It's
just say?
pretty much-
Were you just trying to describe it for things that are good, and you said poison?
Yeah.
Yep, poison.
Inconceivable.
I gotta watch that now. It's got poison in it. Like,
What about the
Solid
debate?
way.
What about the debate that the pirate and Andre the Giant were having on the edge of the mountain?
Yeah.
wait, there's a mountain. Andre
There's
the
a
Giant's in
mountain. There's hills.
I'll,
Oh,
There's
the
a
cliffside.
bog.
The cliffside.
Yeah, it's the cliff. Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out sometime. But it's way, way down there on my list of things to do. You know, it's like
That's on
Especially
the
with
back
you,
when we're
Harry
going to
Potter. You know?
It's a great family movie, Greg. Your whole family can sit down and watch a movie.
Your daughters will actually really like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a daughter-friendly movie. I can watch it with my
Yes.
kids.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Y'all aren't
Yes.
messing with me when
Yes.
like I get my kids
No,
in there and
God,
I'm
no.
watching. All of a sudden, it's like Cinemax and bam.
Greg,
No.
Nathan's not on here. Nathan's not on here tonight.
Look, I want my 7-year-old to watch it. So
Okay.
yes,
Well.
of course they want to see Birds of Prey, but I'm like, let's hold
And
on
it's
that
based
for a
off-
little
and it's
bit.
based- and one of the greatest screenwriters of all time did this. William Goldman. This epic.
Okay.
Epic.
Like I said, I'll try to give it a chance sometime, but I say that now. Watch in like 2 weeks, I'll be posting Super Civil Servants covers Princess Bride throwback movie review.
Hey.
Like what?
Yeah,
I think it's on Disney Plus now, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
You should probably actually, Greg. You should watch that with Katie on Slice of Film. If Katie has never seen it.
It's not a bad idea. Oh, hey, spoiler or not spoiler, but I'll let y'all into a little secret here. I'm doing a episode with Lisa this week, and we're covering Big. Yeah.
No, you're not.
So me and
Big's
her are doing
amazing.
Big next Thursday. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh yes.
But you won't watch Princess Bride. Got it.
Yeah, I think
Tom
you got
Hanks
you there.
though.
Oh, fair enough.
Hey,
Oh,
like
you're
I said,
right.
I
Yeah,
gotta
you're
give
right.
Princess
Yeah,
Bride
I take it back, sir. You're right. I remember
Yeah,
that.
I think it just popped up. I think I
Yeah.
saw it on the menu maybe
Because,
last weekend, maybe. They've added some stuff.
Carrie Elways and Robin Wright were talking and did a whole little thing about saying, "Oh, I wish we could watch it. Oh, it's on Disney Plus."
Princess Bride.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
see, there you go, Greg. Now you have no excuses.
Now I have no excuses. Exactly. Like now I have to watch it.
I mean,
First person I'm gonna message is Nathan. Be like, hey, guess what I'm watching? In fact, I'm gonna message him while I'm watching it. Check out what I'm watching. Yeah. But
while you're at it, another one around that time that you should add to the list, Monster Squad.
Monster Squad. I'm not familiar with that one either.
I think I saw that one.
Is it anything like Mighty Ducks? Because I'm definitely down then.
Dude, it's the Universal Monsters versus a bunch of kids.
Oh, nice. So I
I
love
like
when
how
mon-
he.
love
I
when
like it
monsters
how
play on kids.
Greg thought it was Mighty Ducks comparison with no reference for it whatsoever.
I just said a
Where
90s
did
movie.
you get that
Yeah.
from?
I just said a 90s
It's like
movie.
you have no reference point. Is it Mighty Ducks? Like, where'd that come from?
That one might be a
Yeah,
little
that's
bit
bad.
more. You got to watch it for yourself to find out what you would let your kids watch, because it's a bit much.
Okay. When you had to, if you had to compare it to like something about being a bit much, would you compare it to like Ernest Scared Stupid? Like if you ever saw that Ernest Scared Stupid?
I would actually compare it to that, just a little bit more serious.
Okay.
I mean, there's a whole part where one of the kids walks up to a group of the Dracula's vampire mistresses with arrows, talking about "I'm in the goddamn club," and just starts shooting them through the heart. So.
Oh, okay. So it's a little more adult like that. I got you. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought
but
you meant
it's
adult
still
like scary wise.
No, it's not scary at all. But like the language is up there.
Okay.
It's like Beetlejuice status as far as that goes.
Okay. Well, so I don't sound as dumb. That's where my Ernest Scared Stupid part comes. Because I saw Chris's face. He shook his head
I know, I
like,
was
what the
like,
hell? What the fuck was that? What are you talking about? That was the movie that scared me when I was younger.
Just call me
What?
Robot Man.
Just
Really?
a little
you
bit.
told me you don't
I don't do
horror.
horror, man. I don't do horror.
He doesn't.
No, that's me and my wife. We do horror all day.
So that's not my cup of tea. I have nightmares. I understand it's fake. I just have nightmares. And I'd rather not have nightmares. You know, so I just stay away from horror generally.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we've totally strayed away from Doom Patrol.
Again,
We started talking
Doom
Princess
Patrol,
Bride.
Princess Bride. Yeah,
All the
yeah,
good stuff. All the
you know,
good
you
stuff.
see the connection.
I'm trying to think. Is there anything else we want to bring up, like main points? I know we're going to be covering season 2 on the show. I know the first 3 episodes come out by themselves, first, and then it's weekly after
Next
that,
week.
right?
Yep. Next week.
Next Friday,
Mhm.
is it?
Yep. DC Universe
Yeah.
and HBO Max, which says a lot that this was the show they've anointed to move over to HBO Max, like to be double streaming at the same time. It's impressive for a show that just on its surface, like, huh? This is a popular show?
It's
Well,
It's like
well,
those
tell you
little
what.
sleeper shows. It's like,
Yeah.
you hear about it, you're thinking, what? And then you watch it, and you're thinking, why did I not watch this before? So
Yeah,
I think it's
Titans.
like one of those little sleeper ones.
If Titans was written better, sorry, go
oh, no,
Eric.
you go ahead.
I was going to say if Titans was written better and had a bit like tighter story, that might have been the one that got brought over to HBO Max. But they can't seem to know what to do with endings for
They
seasons.
just need a better
especially.
finale. Yeah, every year they just need a better finale. They're written really well.
Yeah,
Just better finale.
that was what I was going to say. Was like, didn't Doom Patrol do significantly better in like ratings for how many people watched the show as opposed to Titans did?
I don't know if it's that much difference in terms of first initial drop, but because I see Titans is on Netflix in Canada, I assume it's on like other they pushed that show out to a lot of different countries. But I just think critically, Doom Patrol was like leaps and bounds above Titans in terms of overall reception from critics. Like this is easily, like Chris said, the perfect show to move over on HBO Max and have it turned into a HBO original.
Yeah, it's definitely
Or
got the HBO
Max
app.
original. So Max original is what it's called. Sorry.
Yeah. Dang it.
Yeah,
man.
pretty much all HBO Max has been used for me was watching Doctor Who all over again. Who'd have thunk it?
I'm very jealous of you guys.
Gotta look.
HBO
Hey,
Max.
that's what you get when you bring over the one of their heads from BBC to help run HBO. So
Wait for Torchwood. Torchwood's a spinoff, way more adult than Doctor Who ever will be. I will not let my kid. I'll let my kids watch Doctor Who all day long. Matter of fact, my youngest son walks around and steals my hat. He steals my artist pop vinyls, my Doctor Who pop vinyls, my Sonic. He's even taken the fucking TARDIS out of my car because he wants them. That's his thing, and I'm like, hey, I got one of them like completely hooked in it, and I will not let them watch Torchwood at all.
Well, I have to remember. I haven't had a chance to watch Doctor Who yet, but now that you're talking about it being on HBO Max, and I'm going to start my HBO Max subscription very, very soon, just closer to the end of the summer, I'm willing to bet, after vacations and all that good stuff, and I have a little more to throw into something like that, I might start watching some Doctor Who, because I'm interested to check it out. You've talked it up really well, and it sounds... I mean, it's been going on for how many years, Doctor Who?
Shit. It's been going
yeah, tough question.
Originally it's been going on since like the late 70s or early 70s.
Okay.
But it died, like it stopped in the late 80s or something like that, and picked back up in 2005, which is what they've got on HBO Max from 2005 up until now.
Okay.
So you're going to start with the Ninth Doctor, and then you're just going to pretty much get carried away. Like I've said in my podcast, it's a little bit rough to watch the first little bit, but you got to stick with it. But once you really get attached to the characters, you're pretty much smooth sailing from there on out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited to start it. It's I've been waiting for an excuse, and the streaming platform's been my excuse. So
There you go.
Well, I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it.
We'll definitely
I
do
think
it.
I remember watching like some of the very, very early episodes like years ago. Like the older, like the 80s, those episodes, I can't remember who the doctor was. But,
Classic Who.
yeah, I remember seeing that, and I thought it was cool. It was just, I just didn't follow it because I fell into Star Trek.
It's funny because Christopher Eccleston is the Ninth Doctor, and he was actually the bad guy in Thor: Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
And David Tennant was the 10th Doctor, and he was Kilgrave from Jessica Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So if that has helped sell you a little bit on anything.
The second best villain in the Marvel Netflix universe.
David Tennant's just an amazing actor.
Oh yeah, he's fucking great. Like when they announced that they were doing DuckTales again, and they were bringing DuckTales back, and he was playing Scrooge McDuck, I was like, I'm there.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's our Doctor Who corner for the show.
I'm sorry, man.
No, don't be sorry, dude. You're teaching. Like I said, I know me and Chris both of us been thinking about checking it out.
Same. He's really making a persuasive argument.
All right, and now we got a podcast to go listen to if we do check it out to kind of reference things to and check it out. I mean, talk about it.
Yeah, I just did a rundown on the very first episode earlier this week.
Now, which, just so anybody who listens to Doctor Who knows, the very first episode of what? Of what year, what series, what season?
It'll be 2005. Okay. It's the very first episode of current Who.
Okay.
So it's 2005, season 1, episode 1, Rose.
Okay. All right. So anybody who's listening likes Doctor Who, check it out. It's good stuff. I'm trying to think. Is what else you guys want? Is there anything like you wanted to point out about Doom Patrol season 1? I know we're really excited for season 2. I'm more excited than I was before. Now I'm actually interested in seeing what happens season 2. One thing I wanted to point out was I thought that the last episode was unnecessary. I thought it was like I felt like like it is in a lot of not Marvel shows. Sorry, I don't know why I said Marvel. Animated shows that I watch. The last episode of the season just doesn't seem like it needs to be there. Like usually the climax or the best thing that happened before that, and there's just no point in this episode. That could have been the first episode of season 2, and I would have been just fine not knowing any of that information that I found out in the last episode until the next season. It seemed like a great start to a season. So any thoughts on that? Or am I totally wrong on this?
I mean, it's kind of similar to the way that DC does the CW shows with their big events, like the Invasion episodes when they said that Supergirl was going to kick off the show. So I'm like, great, now I got to watch Supergirl. So I watched the entire first season of Supergirl up until that. And then come to find out, nothing to do with the actual Invasion episode except for the last 2 minutes that they actually ended up putting at the end of Supergirl, but also at the beginning of Flash. And I'm sitting there like, why the fuck did I waste my time?
Yeah. Hey, you said DCCW, and Travis said, huh? Tell him that he looked up real quick like, what? Huh?
He's not saying anything wrong about the fact that he was conned into having to watch Supergirl episode of Invasion crossover when there was nothing to do with it. A little bit at the end, like he said, was put on to the start of Flash. It was very greasy of them to basically coax up Supergirl's ratings using the crossover because they were just telling a story for Supergirl's full season, like just adding on to that story. The 2 minutes at the end were put at the start of Flash, so anybody who has problems with that, I can't even begin to argue against because he's right on the money. I thought it was really greasy.
Yeah.
Even though I watched Supergirl regularly, I did, especially back then. I was up to date, but I still thought it was greasy to even make me have to watch it that same night, thinking I was going to get spoiled on things. Whereas there was nothing really, only that little 2-minute clip, and I kept waiting the whole episode to see, like, come on, is the invasion going to start? Then halfway through, I realized, nope, we're just going to get something at the end.
I like how, like, the whole time that I knew I was coming on this show, the one person I was worried about saying anything negative about CW shows is actually agreed on me about the negativity that I put on.
Yeah.
Eric, I wish that I was more excited about the CW going forward. Like, ever since Arrow's ended, it's got, especially with Flash let me down big time.
I'll tell you what let me down. Constantine and what they did to him in Legends of Tomorrow.
I haven't watched Legends since Ray Palmer left. I haven't finished that season yet.
They ruined Constantine, and Chris, you know I'm a die-hard John Constantine fan. They have fucked his story all up.
Well, they put him on Legends, and that's it. It's not the show where he can be his true character, though. I mean, to be honest, that's not a good show for him to be on. To be what he used to be.
He's a lead.
I enjoyed his appearance in Arrow even.
Yeah,
because I thought he was
that.
Yeah.
Like, what would have been perfect would have been. I know that I wish that NBC would never have canceled that show. His Constantine show. It was amazing. I still watch it like at least a couple of times a year because it's just that fucking good. But what would have been perfect is with the fact that they kept rumoring about Justice League Dark being a thing. The way that the NBC show ended would have been perfect if they knew they were going to do this. Save Matt Ryan for when they do this, and then have the Justice League Dark pick up where Constantine left off. Just make it a little bit more mature, and then you start to introduce characters like Zatanna, Swamp Thing, Deadman, Madame Xanadu, and then they're going up against fuck. I'm drawing a blank. Papa Midnight and the Angel. Fuck, I can't remember his name.
Gabriel.
Manny.
Right, I'm thinking about the movie. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, the movie is only canon in the story, but Keanu Reeves was great, but it was not even Chaz had me fucked up with that movie because Chaz has always been somebody that's been like taller and beefier than fucking Constantine, and Shia LaBeouf was not it.
You don't consider him beefy?
Beefcake. He's no The Rock.
Nobody's The Rock except
Dude,
The Rock.
I remember him from Even Stevens. Okay,
Yeah.
he's not gonna let that down anytime soon.
I think my first experience with the Bliss was Transformers. He was
I think my
good.
first acting.
He did have one good movie, and I can't remember the name of it though. I keep wanting to say Source Code, but that's not it. It's a movie like that though. Anyway, all right, back to Doom Patrol. Do y'all have anything else Doom Patrol y'all want to say? Because I mean, like I said, we're just kind of going over season 1 review. Any thoughts or ideas you want to have out there? We're going to start covering season 2 real soon. So once we close this chapter, we are no longer allowed to mention anything on Doom Patrol season 1 for the rest of the existence of this podcast. So get it out now, because you know.
All right, well,
Yeah, we all know that's a lie.
Yeah, we know it's
That's true.
Whatever. Just
Hey,
I
yeah.
mentioned it.
I will go back- I will
Nathan.
go back-
Nathan told me that, so he's not here to defend himself, so I can blame it on him. Nathan told me that.
He's the one that's going to be doing
That's
this.
true.
I know,
That's
right?
true.
I will go back to what you were saying, like you thought the last episode was unnecessary. I think, based on where the previous episode left it, I think I can see what you're saying, but I'll disagree with you in the sense of having that revelation about what the chief said and did. It could have been a season finale. You're right.
Mhm.
I can definitely buy that, but I like that we just didn't leave that big of a thing out there hanging. I think that I like that we brought this whole story to a close, because that's been the question, right? Like, what is the chief hiding from us? What is the chief hiding from us? And I think bringing that arc to a close and starting in a different way for a second season was a good call.
They also didn't know they were getting this greenlit for a second season.
Yeah.
So to tell a story, same thing as Watchmen, really. To tell a story and end a story in one full season is pretty good too.
Well, I think my biggest thing, the reason why I felt like it wasn't as big of a, or didn't need to be there, was it didn't really move a lot of plot points forward, and it was one of those things where, I had it on the tip of my tongue, and now I can't remember what I was going to say. They made Alan Tudyk, like, the whole point of season 1 is to make Mr. Negative this big bad guy, and I get that
Nobody.
Huh?
Nobody.
Nobody. sorry,
Mr.
not
Nobody.
negative. There's nobody. This big bad guy, and then you just kind of throw that all away in that last episode. It's just like, I mean, I get it. He kind of got defeated in the episode prior to that, but they just take all that away, and now he's just a guy who's kind of given up because of a cockroach and a mouse, a rat. Excuse me. I don't know. That bothered me. You know, it made me lose a little respect for him as a villain, even though he's still.
Maybe
Well, I
he'll
think
come
that might
back.
have been the whole point. I mean, he was Mr. Nobody. I mean, that's kind of how he started. I mean, he went into this experiment thinking he's going to be something fantastic, and then he turns into what he does. And I think it's from his first introduction for his soliloquy. Is that what they call it? So you start it with that, and then you end it with that. So that was kind of like his beginning and his end. So
Yeah. Okay. That makes
I
sense.
thought it kind of tied it up a little bit.
Are we gonna have him back as the narrator next season? I hope so, because
I don't think so. I thought he was pretty much done with this.
is he?
Yeah, I don't think he's on the cast list. I think I'm ready for a new one. It'd be okay if I don't see him again.
He's got to
I
start
mean, they
practicing that
hinted the
Joker.
Brotherhood
laugh.
of Evil.
What's that?
They hinted the Brotherhood of Evil in Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that the two big things that I wanted to point out, one of them is one of them's not really important, the other one's more so important. But how violent was the very first fight scene you see Robot Man go at with the fucking mind control people in the hallway? Well, yeah, he's like ripping them apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, this show takes some serious turns on violence that just wouldn't even think about. You know?
Streaming
And the fact that it
service.
fucked him up afterward.
That's the beauty of the streaming service.
And the fact that he was legitimately disturbed by what he had done after he had done it.
Oh yeah.
But that was
Oh yeah.
that was when we met Silvertone, one of Jade's personalities, where she created the words that materialized out of air, and the whole time I could think, every time that would happen, like me and my wife kept making the joke about Adam West Batman. Every time he hit somebody, words would materialize.
Pow. Super
Yeah.
onomatopoeia right there. Is that onomatopoeia?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But then
Make sure I
the
didn't say
one
it
I
wrong.
want to talk about that was more important was, and I mentioned it earlier without actually saying it, was Cyborg beating the shit out of his dad.
Yeah. That one
Yeah.
kind of got
That
me.
shit hurt.
Mm-hmm. It did.
Especially when Mr. Nobody showed up in his visor and you found out that it was all just him fucking with Cyborg.
Yeah.
That shit was brutal.
Yeah, it was bad.
I honestly didn't know if they really were going to kill him at that point. I was like, oh, did they just really kill him? Because it seemed like usually in a show like this, when it seems like that happens, it's very quickly somebody's like, oh, they're not dead yet. It went a long time before they finally said he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
But see, that was around the time that they like, okay, I don't know what they were thinking. They were like, okay, the show was meant to be funny, and now we've just taken a really dark turn. How do we make it back to being funny? And then this is where we get the butts are loose.
Yeah. Yeah, which was crazy. Did they ever go in any explanation at all what the butts were, or that's just
No.
a joke?
Nope, and you don't
get
need
what you
to.
get and
Nope.
make what you want of it. So
Yeah,
okay.
why would you need an explanation to that? That's just brilliant.
I mean, I want one wandering around my house. It'd be kind of fun.
That disturbs me.
Yeah. Kind
Hey,
of.
it's a conversation starter. Why do you have a walking around the house? Says, why don't you have one?
That has teeth and can
Has
bite
teeth.
you.
Oh God.
Get butt bit.
Yeah.
No. Oh,
I'm
good without that.
Yeah. All right. What else, y'all? Anything you had written down you wanted to point out?
If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited for season 2. Season 2
I
next
will
week.
recommend that. Yeah. As somebody who didn't like the show up until about a week ago, I would recommend it. Go watch the show. It's a good show.
Season 2 on Thursday.
Season 2 on Thursday.
Yeah.
First 3 episodes, and it's weekly after that, right?
Oh, I want to point out another quote from Dr. Or Mr. Nobody from the first season. And I forgot, I think it was like a little from the first episode. It was like a little further down. It says, critics, what do they know? They're going to hate this show. So that was like the very first episode. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Fourth
they actually
wall
ended up,
break.
and they actually ended up
know.
loving it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just curious about episode 2. It's like, how can they top season 1? That's
You jump the shark. You just lean harder into it. You double down.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
That's what they're gonna
You
have
take
to do.
a couple of hits of acid and just think, how much more fucked up can we possibly go?
I think that's what I'm afraid of.
Just
The-
get
the second season, they're throwing shrooms into.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
They're mixing it all
wow.
together.
and just drop a hint of E. Just drop it a little bit.
No, I'm afraid if they do that, because then we'll get like a full episode of the wrong muscle being flexed.
Right.
Oh,
The full orgasm
yeah.
scene the whole time.
Nah, I can go without that.
Well, I'd like to see Cliff Steele pretending for 30 minutes. That'd be
That was
interesting.
pretty damn funny.
Yeah, that was the funniest
Oh
part of the
my
episode.
goodness.
Sure.
He got called out pretty quick. I thought that was even funnier. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, they did get you get.
Oh, I would have called him out immediately.
And like he was like defensive too, talking about, so what? No, I don't like feeling left out.
All right. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, you'd probably want to do the same thing. Why not? But yeah, it's a fantastic show. Well, I don't want to say fantastic. That's just it's a great show. I like it. I don't love it. Y'all love it?
Okay,
It's
you
an
won't
awesome
say
show.
it, but I think the rest of us will say it's a fantastic show.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
It's definitely different.
yes, definitely different. It's out there. If you have, like I said, if you haven't seen it yet, prepare yourself, because it's got
It's a
some
wild
pretty extreme
ride.
stuff. Yeah, there's some stuff that, like I said, my wife was watching and she was like, "What the hell am I watching?" I was like, "I can't watch this anymore." I was
Come
like,
on, they even chose one of the right songs for it. "Strange" by The Doors.
Yeah,
Yes.
That was perfect.
That's that whole song is basically Doom Patrol.
soundtrack for
Yes.
the show is great too.
Absolutely.
But-
Ooh,
Oh man, did y'all see
long
that?
day.
That's 5 hours, 5 hours of sleep and 7 podcasts a week will do to you right there. All right, man. I'm last call. Anything y'all want to point out about Doom Patrol? Y'all were the experts. I said some of the stuff I kind of liked, and I just recently watched it, and I'm not the biggest fan, or as big of a fan as y'all are. So, like I said, once we close this chapter, no more season 1 talk ever on this channel.
Nope, not going to happen. We're going to bring it up every single episode now.
Nathan will just prove a point now.
And not to mention, like you guys are saying, Nathan's not even here, and he was one of the ones that was really excited to talk about it too. So he's definitely going to be able to bring it up.
He's going to have something to say about it. Don't worry.
He'll be messaging me. I'll send him the file tonight. He'll be messaging me tomorrow, like, "Why didn't you say this? I can't believe y'all missed this." But
and we'll say, "Well, you weren't here, and you actually have the band." All of us can say whatever we want.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, well, all right, cool. Well, that's all I got for tonight, man. That was going to be the Mac Daddy was the Doom Patrol Season 1. We got Doom Patrol Season 2 coming out pretty soon. It's been a great show, but y'all want to go and start wrapping things up?
Sure thing.
Cool deal. Let's start with the guest, Eric, man. Tell us where they can find you at, talk about your podcast, all that good stuff. Legendary Bearded Geek, great guy right here, awesome fan, and it's been great having you on tonight, but where can they find you?
Yes, thank you.
Man, thank you guys for having me. You can find me for Doctor Who, you can find me on Alonzi Radio Pod, or at Alonzi Radio Pod on Twitter. Alonzi Radio, I think everywhere that podcasts are. And then if you're for comic books and video games, Legendary Bearded Geek Podcast on Twitter, at Bearded Geek 1.
It's a fun show, y'all. Really is. Really fun listen. That was kind of how I met you, man, was listening to your show. We started talking, and that's how things work. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks once again for coming on. Sarah.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. Sarah, where can they find you at?
You can find me at My Lady Kitten on Twitter and Instagram, and apparently here on this podcast, because it's the only one that I pretty much you can find me on. But I do listen to all you other guys, and I enjoy that as well. So that's pretty much it for the time being.
She's actually not telling the full truth there, because Sarah, every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is on the C3 Panthers podcast in the chat room, and she's pretty much running the chat room. Like, I watch that while I'm on the show. I'm watching the chat room, and like, there's certain people that come in that everybody's like, hey. Sarah's one of those people. As soon as Sarah comes in the chat room and says one thing, there's like 9 people like, "Hey, Sarah, what's up? How you doing, Sarah? Sarah, what's going on?" And then you just notice the whole chat room the whole time. She's kind of running the chat room. It's awesome. Great fan, and we love having you on, and thanks for coming back. And you've got the host credentials now. You're included in the group. Like, you'll be here every week until I tell you you can't come back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which won't happen. So, Chris, bud, where can they find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Balga. Shows I do are World's Finest True Believers, which you can follow on Twitter at Finest Believers. This week I dropped a new episode with Tim from DC Films looking at Countdown to Infinite Crisis and the OMAC Project. So that was a fun episode. And then on Mondays, you can find Travis Snell and myself doing Marvel Alliance. We've got some interesting topics to talk about this week. Some interesting a blast from the past news that has come to rear its head, and we're going to be looking at it. So stay tuned. Arnold Schwarzenegger will be talked about because of that. So, a little hint to come, Eric. A little hint to come. We're going to be talking a little bit of Arnold.
Who doesn't love talking to Arnold?
I'm not saying he's going to like it, but it was funny he brought up the...
Hold up. I don't mind Arnold. Let's not get that twisted.
Okay. The character, I got you. The doctor.
Just Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Well, we'll be talking about a character that I had forgotten that he might have played. So, but yeah, so that'll be dropping on Monday. So, but yeah.
Good deal. T-Bone. Where can you find you, buddy?
They can find me at Twitter, Travis_156. You can drop me a line and we can chat about DC, Marvel, pretty much anything that I've watched, or even give me recommendations like Eric did with Doctor Who. I've definitely got to get out of that at some point. Doom Patrol coming in kind of throws a little wrench into the works, but it is on the list now. I do DC Alliance with Greg every Tuesday and Superhero Discussions with Greg every Friday. We finished season 1 of Superman the Animated Series, and we're into season 2. And it's really nice because Greg's never watched this show before, so it's nice to get his perspective. Our mind's really coated and watered down in nostalgia. So I'm overly positive about a lot of these old anime shows. And myself and Chris Belga guested on DC On Screen 600 episode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Chris Belga pulled double duty and did movies and TV, but I just joined for the TV part, along with Brent from Fans Without Borders, so that was a fun time.
Yeah, it's probably going to drop this week, I think.
Yeah, I was talking to Jason about that today, actually. So he was telling me that he was working on it. So that'll be a good little episode. That was a lot of fun. So check that out. Give those guys a follow. They're pretty great, true decent dudes, and guys that I found right after BBS, along with DC Film Squadcast, to kind of live out the hate.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, you can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter. Like Travis said, me and him do the DC Ultimate Alliance podcast on the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. We also do the Superhero Discussions podcast together, so you can hear a lot of us on that show. But if you didn't know, the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network is a one-stop shop for all your geek needs every day of the week. We drop one show every day. We're going into week 4 coming up because week 3 ended today. And I just wanted to say thank you to all the fans, all the patrons out there, everybody who's listened to us, giving us a share, giving us a chance. We've had what I feel like is pretty good success for the first 3 weeks. We've had some great fan interaction. And most of all, we have had a great time doing it, which is, for me, above all, the most important part of everything is having a good time doing it. But Geek Ultimate Alliance Network, check us out. You can find anything you want to there. Marvel, DC, Star Wars, movies, animated shows. More stuff in the future, I'm sure, but we are just getting started, so check it out. And then you can also find me live every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, on the C3 Panthers podcast, where I'll be on there talking, and Sarah will be running the chat room. So check it out. If you're a Panthers
and I'll be dropping in to give you one message.
That's right. He'll be dropping in his MJ lies in there every week. So it's okay. We all get a good laugh about that one. But nah. But other than that, man, I'm getting out of here. Y'all have a great evening. Thank everybody so much for coming on. It's been fun as always. Eric, thank you so much, man. We'll be in contact. Everybody else, I'm sure I'll talk to y'all later on tonight or tomorrow. We'll figure something out. But until next week, like I do every week for a non-Panthers show, keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
All right. Let's end the stream.